Good evening, sim race fans. Welcome to Homestead Miami Speedway. I am Josh Conover, joined in the booth tonight by my usual counterpart Nick Geilis, and we also have Christian Snyder and a little bit of a Larry Mack for us. Josh Susie, fellas, welcome to Homestead. Don't all jump at once. Am I still? Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
I brought you guys in. Nobody said anything.
In fairness,
Didn't hear
yeah, there was a robot noise, and then you asked us hello. So
Oh, well, that's a good way to start. But I introduced myself, introduced you guys, and I said, welcome to Homestead. So we'll try it again. Welcome to Homestead, boys.
yeah, we're back. Well, at least some of us are back.
Well, yeah, some of us are back.
This is. I don't think Susie was there for the AI. That's about it. That was a fun time. We're not gonna, we're not gonna talk about that, and hopefully, we don't have a range shortened race in this one, because if we do, there's some major iRacing issues.
I think we're good as far as the quote-unquote rain's concerned, but something I know, Nick, we touched on in our last AI race, but something we can kind of touch on again here is now we've got, obviously everybody in the server and kind of seeing the practice times. The good old pill draw and that set starting grid.
Yeah, that is going to be some of the most interesting bit of action that I think we'll see out of this, with certain drivers starting further back than their, what you would say, skill level, per se. It's going to be an interesting night, to say the least.
Susie, I know obviously you're an admin with myself and a couple others, but kind of give us your opinion too on it. I know you were, I want to say, I guess, on the fence about it, but now that it's here and we'll get to see it in action, what do you think? Did you guys not hear me again? Does anybody have a copy in the booth? Christian, you got me? You guys got me now?
Yeah, we got you.
That's weird. But anyway, try this again. Mentioned the set grids. Susie, I know you're an admin with myself and a couple others. I believe you were kind of on the fence about it, but now that we're here, we can see the times and kind of know where everybody's going to be scheduled to roll off. What are you kind of expecting tonight?
Track position's king. Clean air is king. And taking care of that right front tire as this track chews them up is going to be very important.
I guess Christian too, you can kind of touch on that as well. I know we obviously, as far as myself, you and Nick, we'll have our chance at the whole random pill draw come Monday night when we go to Vegas, I believe. But kind of give your thoughts here as well.
Yeah, as far as Monday goes, at Daytona and Daytona Road Course, I had my fair share of troubles, and my pill draw didn't go so well, so I'm starting very far back, and I feel like I'm a pretty good driver, so I can come through the field, and there's a lot of good drivers tonight that are going to have to do that same thing, so it's going to be really interesting to see the really good drivers that are in the back that have to come through some of the rookies in the series that maybe don't have as much experience as some of the guys further back.
And you touched on, some of the rookies and experienced guys and stuff like that, but even if you just look at, because obviously the pill draw kind of based on owners points, but even if you just look at, the championship guys here, I mean, right now your top four, it's actually Payne Faust jumped to second, as we see Manji just absolutely destroy Craig. But your top 4 right now, all title guys, all technically quote-unquote rookies, based on the NORA standards. But your point leader, Dalton Tucker, 1 Daytona, 1 last week at the road course. He, I guess we could say, had the worst luck because of the pill draw. He is scheduled to roll from 12th. I know we're missing, I believe, 1 or 2 from that first group, so he may move up at least a couple spots. But it'll be interesting to see what he can do trying to come through the field.
Yeah, and I think person looking for the biggest redemption this week. I was there to cover the Daytona road course by myself last week. I know there were some scenarios that led to that, but the person that's looking for biggest redemption from last week is Vincent Arthur. He had that race wrapped up, and he was going to win that thing, and computer issues knocked him out of that race. He is looking for redemption, and I think he is going to be a big threat tonight.
Yeah, I heard all about that one, so I'm sure, like you said, he's going to be looking for that one. But, I would argue, too, another guy going to maybe struggle in the first stage, Tommy Gossett. He will be buried in the field. I know we have 29 in the server right now. Obviously, if a couple more join, that'll change that. But he will roll, I believe, from around 26th or so once we do get gridded up and ready to go. But real quick, before we do roll, since there is no qualifying, see if we can grab old Dalton Tucker. Dalton Tucker, Con over in the booth. You got a copy?
I gotcha.
Well, man, we've talked kind of since I believe Monday or so when we did the pill draw. Scheduled to start 12th. I think there's 1 or 2 missing, so you'll slide up potentially a row. Still going to be tough for you here in the beginning stages of this race. How you looking to attack the first couple laps?
Just take it easy. I'm going to try to save tires because I think it's going to go green basically till the end of the stage. So just save what I got, and if I pass people, good. If I don't, we'll try to work on something else.
You guys got anything for him?
Yeah, last week you were able to capitalize and get the win at Daytona Road Course. Are you going to try to back that up and go back-to-back this week?
Yeah, I need to contact iRacing. Maybe they can kick everybody out of the session again.
Well, actually, Christian, to correct that, remember he won Daytona as well, so that'd be a three-peat to start the season if he can pull it off tonight.
That's true. That's true.
But I think Susie had mentioned with us, Dalton, tires are going to be a huge factor. I know you guys have 6 sets in the pits tonight. From what we have heard, the pit window is just shy of making the stage. Not to give away too many secrets, but I know we kind of said, if you pass a couple guys, good. If not, you'll try and figure another way out. But how important do you think tires are going to be as well?
Oh yeah, it's whoever's on the newest tires is going to be the fastest without a doubt. You get extremely tight, and then you get tight behind other cars. It's just going to make you even slower.
Is that what you're feeling? I know we've seen a lot of guys loose. Seems like middle off, coming off the corner. Sure, are you feeling tight, or are you kind of seeing the same loose feeling?
When I was out front, it was loose. When I got behind people, the front wanted to push, but the back end wanted to step out, like on exit. But it's kind of hard to say. I'd much rather want clean air than a draft any day.
All right, buddy. Well, appreciate you for giving us a couple minutes. I know we're winding down, about 3.5 to go. We'll let you get back out on track, and good luck tonight.
Thanks, man.
That is your point leader, Dalton Tucker. I was going to try and grab somebody else, but I think we'll kind of let that be. These guys get a couple more laps, but real quick here, we will look at the track temp. I know it started, I believe, at 92. It's down to 90. Anybody really can kind of jump in for this one. Do you guys think it's going to keep dropping as we progress towards the nighttime, or do you think once we get rolling, like Dalton said, he expects to go green? You think if we can stay green, it'll kind of hold steady or maybe even go up a temp or two?
It probably will go down the later into the night, but also as the sun goes down, it's going to be in these drivers' eyes. I believe as they go into, I think it's turn 1, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, but that's also only if the cloud cover also lifts.
That's true.
It's actually a
If
good point.
we remain in overcast, then the sun will not actually probably bother anybody because there just won't be any.
I don't see the track temp going down very much unless the air temp goes down.
That's
Yeah,
a good point as well. Right now we're sitting still 87, but I think Nick, you had mentioned it a little bit before we went live, I believe. You know, that strong wind is right now, it seems like it's going anywhere from about 14 to 16, and as I say, that goes to 12, but you know, that's pushing you down into turn 3, and then kind of obviously entry to the corner. Could we see that, you know, be a problem for these guys?
Oh, absolutely. You know, you start getting that tailwind, if you would, into a corner. You're going in faster than you want to, and it kind of plays with your entry a little bit. And if it moves and changes around, all of a sudden it shifts direction, and you're not ready for it. You know that also these cars are so aero dependent, and when the winds start shifting, things happen with these cars sometimes in weird and mysterious ways. And sometimes they get looser, sometimes they get tighter. You know, there's just certain things that happen with the wind that plays a factor into how loose or how tight your car might be.
Well, that would explain the extra rotation in the middle of 1 and 2 and the little extra push in the middle of 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
I know, obviously, you know, we try and use realistic weather. I know when I posted this Sunday night or Monday, I saw the wind, and I think I messaged Nick. I was like, "Ooh, this is going to be interesting," because even more so for our sim stuff, I don't think we've had a race under 10 miles per hour of wind. And kind of like what Nick said, any change of wind, on the spoilers, or you know, even the right rear quarter, you see Donald get loose off turn 2, is drastic. You know, with this wind, you know, if you go into the corner side by side, could potentially somebody suck that air off your right rear and, you know, kind of just bring you around.
Yeah, and certainly, like Susie had mentioned, with the direction that the wind's currently blowing, you know, as you get into the middle of turns 1 and 2, all of a sudden now your car actually wants to turn a little bit better because the wind is essentially kind of helping you a little bit getting into that or through the middle, and it's the exact opposite through 3 and 4. As the wind hits the side of your car, it starts to push you more to the outside wall, and that's why you end up getting tight coming off. And then, of course, down the front stretch, you know, you're slower. You're driving into the wind. You don't want to be into the wind. It's always going to be slower.
Well, closing out practice, Tommy Gossett, top of the board. Remember I mentioned he's, as far as the title guys, I believe, going to be the furthest one in the back once we grid up here with a 31.177. Payne Faust was second with a 3.23. And we will get ready to grid up.
As we would say, Tommy Gossett is buried.
Yeah, looking at timing and scoring, he is going to roll off, looks like 30th, but front row, luck of the draw as we'll call it. Actually, an owner's points driver will be Justin White. Matthew George will lead your title contenders. He will roll off from second. Zach Howell, third. Ernie Ludwig will roll off from fourth. Payne Faust, just mentioned him, second in practice times. He'll be fifth. Sean Briscoe, sixth. Roy Crump, seventh. And Cody McKinney, eighth. BP Brian Powell, ninth. And Corey Wharton will be 10th. Chris, you want to grab 11 to 20 for me?
Yeah, Dalton Tucker going to roll off 11th. Bruce Ackerman in 12th. Kevin Waugh in 13th. Mark McFadden in 14th. Chad Engel in 15th. Ryan Jones 16th. Joseph McKinney 17th. Alex Edelman in 18th. Sam Lear in 19th. And Alan Walden rounds out your top 20.
Donald Etcher will roll off from 21st. Vincent Arthur in 22nd. Alex Brown, 23rd. Keegan Bitzer from 24th. Timmy Harper from 25th. Craig Schroeder from 26th. Tony Monty in 27th. Ben Quimby in 28th. Corey Danielson, 29th. And Tommy Gossett rolls off 30th.
And Tyler Chalk looks like scheduled 31st. I don't know if he actually made it or not. I know he didn't set a time in practice.
Well, it looks like he's in here.
As it looks
Does
like
not look like
Manji.
he's on track though.
Manji did make the grid. Okay, I guess they were on pit road. So we'll see how this one pans out. Just real quick look at the race analysis. 160 laps, 240 miles. Stages again, lap 40 and 80. Pit window, like we mentioned with Dalton, just shy of your stage breaks, around 33 to 38 laps. Boys, it's about go time. We're going to see how this old pill draw works out.
Yeah,
This is gonna get exciting here.
Yeah, I like it already. Personally,
Green flag is out.
and we are underway for the third race of the NORA Cup Series season from Homestead, Miami, Florida.
So we mentioned Dalton was scheduled to roll off 12th. He rolls off from, I believe it was 11th when they finally graded up. As Matthew George started second. Not the best jump in the world, but he uses the outside to power on Justin White, and he'll lead us into turn 3 for the first time.
Absolutely, that outside line, you use it just right. You don't want to get too high up. You kind of want to be right in the middle there, and on somebody's outside, you can really use that to get around. As we have a huge incident in the pack.
I saw that one out of the corner of my eyes. Actually, Ben Quimby did make it in. I did not see him come in. And I know it was Alex Edelman. So we'll see if we can back it up.
It looks like it's Mark McFadden.
Got loose.
Nope.
As it appears, I actually lose a couple cars as we come off the corner. We'll see if we can get it in. Well, we lost him at the end, but I did see, Christian, you mentioned it, looking for redemption. Vincent Arthur got involved with Donald Etcher, last year's champion. And I believe I saw Keegan Bitzer and Alex Brown involved as well. This Etcher has no front end, as you can look right into the engine on that car.
Yeah, I think Keegan got through with minimal damage, really. I believe Alex Brown was involved in that as well. Tony Manji, the 78 of Sam Lear.
It's actually
Tyler
Chalk made it as well, so we do have 31 that started.
There were a lot of guys that were involved in that one, though.
So we're taking a look. Vincent Arthur, also no front end, as he actually escaped from pit road, so he might be our first one to park it behind the virtual wall, per se.
Yeah, I can't expect that he'd be too thrilled about that one getting taken out and coming out of 4 on the first lap.
Well, and I would argue, not really argue, but I know I ran, the opener at Daytona. I know he was involved in the first lap carnage on the start. And he kind of struggled from there on out. Then I know last week, as Christian mentioned, basically dominated for say at the road course, and internet issues took him out. And then here today, lap 1, and it looks like he did pull it behind the wall from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, and he's not the only one that's had the issues with this either. Keegan, as you mentioned, that lap 1 incident at Daytona, he was also involved in that lap 1 incident at Daytona. So Keegan, who didn't run last week at the road course, 2 for 2 on lap 1 incidents.
Yeah, and I was curious if he actually beat the pace car out, because I don't think he did. But, we'll see where Iverson puts him. Which this is kind of weird for me too, Nick, because you'll know more from our Sim Series stuff. We have a full cup field on that side, and I get just about every car, I think maybe like 38, 39. And I know, just looking at timing and scoring, trying to pick guys up, I miss about, looks like 22nd on back. Which is why I barely caught the end of that wreck. I saw Mark get loose, and then after that it was nothing. So
I'd almost say
draw cars. It should be 40.
Yeah, but that wouldn't change between Sim and this.
right.
They don't have different graphical settings.
Oh, okay.
But
and
nonetheless,
yeah.
mentioned
So-
Chalk made it.
Here's a question for you.
What's up?
Yeah.
Do you think they're expecting more cautions, or no one thought to come down and top off right there?
I think I
don't
think
know.
I saw Dalton and Chad on pit road topping off.
So yeah, so I was going to touch on that. Danielson came down pit road there, so I believe we're on 1 to green. But so Roy Crump leads the guys that pitted in 15th, and you have BP, Tucker, Sam Lear, Schroeder, and Engel. And actually, it appears Quimby, Manji, which I believe they may have been involved in the wreck. They all came down. My only argument to that would be, you know, we knew the window was close. You could kind of stretch it 238. I would argue if you know that and you're saving fuel, you could potentially make it from here.
Potentially, yeah. And, you know, considering that we just had a caution on the very first lap of the race, a few of those guys up front might be gambling on the fact that we might get more than just one here.
This looks like Etcher
Yeah, and I
as
tell you
well
what,
behind the wall.
two big benefiters from that caution, Timmy Harper and Tyler Chalk, started 25th and 31st. They're both 13th and 14th now.
I would definitely go with Tyler Chalk, who I believe missed the grid, so he had to roll from pit road. So he's huge beneficiary from that.
Let's see if we can keep it clean and green and back to the right. Matthew George, but no, keep an eye now. You know, those guys that pitted. You know, Tucker, BP, you know, Chad, all them guys. I thought Gossett parked it as well, but I guess he finally popped back in the screen, so he's now not great out in timing and scoring. So, you know, iRacing loves giving me fits apparently when it comes to broadcast. But Nick, Christian, correct me if I'm wrong. It looks like we have 3 guys behind the wall right now from my timing and scoring.
Oh, we got a one in the wall, the 37 here. Ryan Jones
I'm only counting.
gathered it up.
2.
Donald and Vincent.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it. For some reason, it's not picking up all the cars, so they're graying out. We're trying to work with it, but appreciate you on the update. As Christian mentioned, Brian Jones into the wall, I believe off turn 4. As we look to the guys that just pitted right now, Roy Crump actually still leads that group with Dalton Tucker hot on his heels.
And we mentioned that high line probably wouldn't work well. That higher line, no matter which it is seeming to be, at least in comparison to Matt George right now, the better line. There's some guys getting some good run there as Ackerman gets really loose. A couple guys get loose off it too.
You know,
Well, that's going to be your trouble spots on the exit of the corners crossing that second seam. If they got a lot of wheel in it and all of a sudden that rear end kicks because it grips on the seam, you'll see him kick sideways.
I know you mentioned too, Susie, because of that wind, you know, you're getting a push coming off of 2 and then even going into 3. So, you know, like you said kind of too, I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of guys get loose off of 2 and maybe, you know, maybe experiment and try a little bit of a higher exit. You know, we see it in real life. A lot of guys are loose. They kind of tend to kind of try a little bit of a higher line to kind of help that.
Yeah, and you see with Payne Faust right now, he's running the traditional line, which I figured would be quickest. Left side's right on that first seam all the way around. But with this difference in the wind and overcast conditions, we might be able to see some guys, especially in the pack, make that second or third groove work, even if it's just defending a position because the guy on the bottom won't be able to clear him.
I know we saw, you know, I mentioned it on the initial start, Matt used kind of the second, third groove to get around Justin, and then I think Payne did it to get around Matt originally on this restart, but, you know, as you mentioned it, I kind of went up and looked at it, and yeah, he was, you know, right on the seam. I noticed Zach Howe actually a little under that seam. He's kind of right down on that white line.
I did a little sneaky testing in here pre-race. When I noticed the first couple laps, about 3 or 4, you run that bottom where you want to be, and it's a little loose. So if the guys can run that second or top side, they're not as much wheel in it. There's still a good amount of grip because of these weather conditions. You're not going to get as loose up there. You can make passes work early on in the run that way.
Don't look now, but old 2-time Dalton Tucker coming up.
So he's caught it as well. I was just about to say it. We actually have a caution somewhere on the racing surface.
Wow. That one I saw. And
wow.
no, it was Timmy Harper and Roy Crump, and I believe Keegan Pitts are the main 3. Yeah, Keegan more than likely blew up. But yeah, Roy. I'll be generous because I'm in the booth, but I think he thought he was clear of Manji, who was actually a lap down, and kind of looked like he came down across the nose of Manji and spun to the inside. Sure, here he gets a run on Ackerman, comes down, and yeah, Manji was just there. Actually, a little bit of net code, but I think regardless, Manji was still there, and then nothing for Timmy to do, and Keegan misses Roy and just straight lines old Timmy Harper.
You gotta love it. Yeah.
But now
the question is who gets here?
Well, looking at the times, actually Tommy Gossett got through that one cleanly. Let's see what Tommy saw here. See the smoke from Roy. Checks up, there's Timmy. Whoa! I'm sure that was a pucker one for old Tommy.
Looks like we got half the field's bitten.
The front couple stay out, it looks like.
We'll see if they take tires here or not.
I can't blame the guys pitting here. Yep.
Well, you have 6 sets to use, and you know you can go somewhere around 35 laps. You're only really going to need 1 set for that final stage if it stays green.
Well, everybody on pit road right now is taking tires.
The 8 or the 80 take 2?
Well, we can check that one. Actually, 6-second stop, I would argue, yeah, either 2 or none, but we will take a look. Fuel only.
Fuel only.
Everybody else,
Another thing I noticed in testing, left sides aren't wearing much, so if we have a short 5-6 lap run later on in the race and you see a bunch of people pit, don't be surprised if someone takes rights only.
And then certainly you get a decent advantage with that, you know, position-wise. Now, obviously, depending on how old the tires are, may not be the worst way.
I know everybody else that pitted did take 4. Ernie Ludwig, owner's points driver, will line up 11th. He took, like we said, fuel only. As now Gossett's on pit road. Brian Jones. Gossett tops off.
Ernie's actually a championship driver that just hasn't been updated for some reason.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
No, I'd normally say for the people that just pit, let them settle the car and it's going to be a little loose, but we know Dalton can ride the wheels off these things. Watch him tear through these front 9 cars here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be an interesting car to follow along with on that one. And might even want to go like nose cam, helmet cam, or something for that one, because that'd be a interesting view on the restart.
We'll definitely ride along for sure. It might even bring out, as you like to call it, Nick, the world's fastest drone.
Absolutely, we love the world's fastest drone here. Old 200-mile-an-hour drone.
Well, I know, again, we were kind of talking pre-race, about, how important the tires are. Granted, it's obviously our second caution, within the first 20 laps, so you're about halfway through the stage already, but, the guys up front haven't pitted. Right now, your top 7, Faust, Briscoe, George, White, McKinney, Wharton, McKinney, have all stayed out. They haven't pitted at all. Lear was showing in 7th. There he is. Okay, blinked out for a second. He's on a 13-lap stint, but I assume he just did fuel only as well in the beginning.
The only thing they have going for them right now is they really only have about 6 or 7 green flag laps on their tires. That's still enough to make a big difference.
Yeah, especially for somebody on brand new, fresh Goodyear Eagles. Absolutely.
So before we go on board, right now, the battle we also want to watch, talk about the loose conditions, and even if, if we go green to the stage end, that lucky, as we have contact on our caution between Manji, Roy, and Danielson. As I believe maybe a little unhappiness there between Crump and Manji, but yeah, so that'll be interesting to watch for the Lucky Dogs. We will bring out Nick's favorite camera, the world's fastest drone, as we're about to come back green with Payne, Faust, and Briscoe now in your front row.
Green flag.
And they are away. Yep.
The big
It
thing
does.
that's going to help the front guys too is Dalton, obviously couldn't change lanes for the start-finish line. He was kind of boxed in behind Lear and had Joseph McKinney to his inside. It's going to be how quick he can get around these two and start kind of picking off those front guys.
It's probably not going to be too long, to be honest.
That tires the way they are now. He just needs to pick a lane that they're not, and he's going to rip.
Mm-hmm.
Right now he's looking to the bottom. As you can see kind of up front as well, Briscoe kind of peeking to the inside of Faust. Is Dalton maybe going 3 wide here on the front stretch? He's going to.
He's going to, absolutely. That's the decision there to go for that one. That's going to hurt you on entry a little bit, but with those fresh tires, it ain't going to hurt you as much as it would with the older ones.
Yeah, he's got to go. Faust and Briscoe and even Matt running third. The only thing they can kind of hope for is, this stays green and he doesn't get to them as quick as he probably will. He's looking at the inside of Wharton now, but, kind of let them tires somewhat even out, before he gets to you.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. As we've kind of covered a little bit with the Sim series, it doesn't seem like the tire model really has an even out phase. If you have fresher tires, they are fresher than no matter what, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, we'll wait and see. He did just turn, I believe, fast lap of the race with the 8:21. He's now looking to the outside of Matthew George, which we would assume would turn back into the inside, which it will.
Does.
I mentioned your Lucky Dog battle. Manji, I believe he was involved in that first wreck, but I don't think he's too hurt as far as performance, as he's up here running, which would be 15th if he was on the lead lap. But Roy obviously worse off from that incident. So we'll keep an eye on that one as well.
I don't think Manji really had a lot of damage in that first incident. Just a little bit of side contact with Keegan, which is what sent Keegan around.
There you go. Susie called it. You're going to go wherever they're not. Briscoe went to the bottom. Dalton went to that, I'd say actually like the third line or so, and he's actually still going to battle going into turn 1.
Yeah, but with those fresh tires, it's not going to take much to get around them here.
The only chance Payne had is if it would have taken Dalton a little bit longer to get to him, because this aero model, the aero push is real. If his tires would have been worn out a little bit more, maybe 4 or 5 more laps, he could have aero blocked him around the track.
He's going to go for a block right there. Yeah, he shut the door on the high line that Dalton was looking at real quick, and Dalton's still going to get to the inside going into the corner, and it looks like he's probably going to clear him on exit.
We'll say, impressive run so far by Payne. I know he kind of ran, I believe, a little bit towards the end of the last season. Decided, kind of liked what.
Look at that aero push right there.
So maybe that's the sign Briscoe needs. As the second driver with fresher tires, Kevin, as Christian would say, Wah.
Yep.
Up to 4th.
Old Canadian Wah.
You saw it in Payne and Briscoe in turn 3 there. Briscoe got the aero push off Payne, and Payne got the aero push off Dalton.
Interesting thing that I was watching here, Kevin wasn't pushing as hard when he was passing these guys as Dalton was, so he might be saving his stuff a little bit more than Dalton.
So we're about to go 3 wide for, I think it's 8th, between Cody McKinney, BP, and Zach Howell. McKinney, the only guy on the older tires. It's actually Kevin's going to get by Briscoe for 3rd.
He's going to set his sights on Payne Faust.
But what I was saying about Payne, though, it ran a little bit last season. I guess, obviously liked what he saw, decided to come run for a title this year, and I would argue one of his better runs we've had, besides, Daytona or something. But, Payne's looking strong here early on.
Absolutely, and I would assume more fresh tires coming here on that inside. That's Bruce Ackerman in 56. He's kind of marching forward too now.
Yeah, so it'd be him, Powell, and then actually Howell are the next 3 with tires to come through, and then it'd be back to 11th with Chalk and Engel.
Yeah, and Bruce Ackerman actually has nose damage from an incident in pit lane. He got into the back of Ernie Ludwig entering pit road.
Interesting. He's certainly not hampering him too much as he's able to really continue to hold speed here.
It's Payne, you know, this is one thing, you know, I didn't mention it, but Payne, you know, not necessarily a bad thing depending on who you get aggressive with, but definitely one of our more aggressive drivers, and, you know, could argue Bruce as well. But you saw it there. Bruce kind of got to his left rear quarter. Payne, you know, not afraid to kind of pinch you down there and make you earn it for sure.
Yeah, but I don't know that there's really much you can do against pressure tires like this. And it's just going to continue to really kind of slide backwards, essentially.
Yeah, he just needs more laps, and he needs people not to be in front of him. If he can get clean air on that nose and, you know, control the people behind him with the air, he might have a chance to kind of stabilize somewhere here.
Briscoe got
I thought for a second there Payne was going to give Zach a push down the backstretch.
I did too. Briscoe took advantage though, looked to the inside. One thing to note too, we're talking about tires. Justin White ran, I believe, about top 4 of them first, you know, couple laps. He's fallen now back to 13th and is in a battle with Tommy Gossett, and then, as I mentioned before, the lapper of Manji, who right now would be your lucky dog. Actually, Tyler Chalk, first race of the season. Wasn't sure if he was even going to make it. I believe he had a college Zoom call right when we were about to grid. Made it in, got lucky with the first caution because he missed the grid. And he's knocking on the door with stage points. He's battling Chad Engel and Corey Wharton.
Yeah, certainly where he got that first caution, that was huge. When you miss the grid and you get a start from pit road, you could go a lap down at certain tracks. I think he would have probably been all right. I think it would have been about a half a lap more than likely, but certainly catching a caution almost immediately, though, really, really huge help.
We had an engine expire
For Keegan.
I think it was Roy Crump. See if I can actually get it.
And there's actually a caution. I'm assuming because of it, maybe?
He pulled off. He was down by pit road. I'll have to see if you guys can find it, or maybe Susie has it.
Yeah,
Roy,
I'm not really seeing where it came from.
Roy was the expired engine. Like I said, he pulled off. We'll see.
No, he wasn't on the racing surface.
We'll see if old race control Susie can maybe find us one there. But I was getting ready to say before I thought I heard the engine expire, you know, your top 5 was all new tires. They're now 15 lap old tires compared to these guys 30. But you had Faust, Briscoe, Wharton, and George, all guys that stayed out. Then you had Engel and Chalk on freshies coming up to them guys to potentially, you know, make the passes. But you would have saw guys, you know, like Matt, like Wharton, Briscoe, Faust, who have been up front most of this first stage, you know, be battling, you know, for the stage points.
Yeah, absolutely. I honestly, I can't find.
There's nothing.
Other than Roy not Roy.
Fluids on the track.
Yeah, Roy.
That's all I can say. I mean, right now, the 47's off in the grass, so maybe there are liquids on the track. I don't know.
So you gotta wonder now. You'll have probably 6-7 laps to go in the stage. You do have some takers. Cody McKinney, the first one. Justin White, and then Sam Lear, Joseph McKinney, Ernie Ludwig, Ben Quimby, Schroeder. As Manji will get back on the laps. Now I'll be able to see, you know, what he does have under the hood of that Ford Mustang.
No,
I'm really surprised to see Bruce Ackerman stay out. I mean, he's going for owner's points, so he doesn't really need the stage points. So if he would have pit there and got 4 fresh tires, it would have set him up for, you know, the race win and not the, you know, the stage points.
Well, you got to think too, though. Yes, you know, he would have had the fresh tires, but you know, come stage 2 for the start, you're gonna have those wore out tires. And something to note here, he's the only owner's driver in the top 10 right now. Actually, in the top 12. As the next one's Brian Jones in 13th.
And also by staying out, he saves a set of tires that, if you come in and get tires for, you're not going to have later.
This is true.
Using 2 sets in one stage, I don't know that I'd want to really do that.
Well, everyone that just pit now is definitely not going to pit at the stage break. They're going to stay out.
And I don't think they have enough time to really take advantage of the new tires in comparison to the old. At least not to get all the way up to maybe Dalton. They very well could get into the stage points from where they are.
I wouldn't be
I don't
surprised
think
if they
that
just,
they have enough to get to Dalton.
ride slow. Save these tires.
That's also an option.
I believe Susie's still trying to decipher the caution, but I do believe it. Thought he was far enough off track, but I believe it would have been Roy Crump. As Monty's on his tires.
The only thing I could say.
Yeah, they threw it for Roy.
iRacing was like, yeah, fluid's on the track. There's oil there.
So, I mentioned Engel and Chalk catching the not even really the trio, the 4 of Faust, Briscoe, Wharton, and George. Now, they're going to restart. Well, Chad in the same row as Matt, but Chalk, a row behind, and even Gossett now would be 12th coming to this restart. But now, fresh tires, Cody McKinney, 14th.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know that they have enough time to get to Dalton. Although they might. I'm not going to rule it out, but it's going to be...
We'll see what happens with these guys that are still on original tires. This gives them a chance to cool them down a little.
Yeah, who actually stayed out on the old tires? Oh, yeah, Payne Faust still out there on the old tires.
Yeah,
Matthew George.
Those same 4 are still out there: Faust, Briscoe, Wharton, and George. And that's why I had mentioned it. As actually Dalton Tucker's going to take the top, which will put teammate Brian Powell behind him. Maybe a little teamwork going on there, but no, that's kind of why I mentioned it, because they were getting caught regardless. Engel and Chalk were right there. Gossett was a little ways back, but they're going to take the green with, I believe, it'd be 5 to go, maybe 4 actually, I think. But now there isn't a question. Now besides Engel and Chalk being there, you're going to have Gossett, who I'm sure Christian can attest for this, and even Susie as well. I mentioned it with Bruce and Payne. Probably another one of the more aggressive drivers we have. And now you throw in the equation of fresh tires: Cody McKinney, not Brian Jones, sorry, Justin White, Sam Lear, Ben Quimby, Lear, McKinney, and Quimby, all title guys, and I'm sure they're going to be pushing to get to the front and grab a couple key stage points early on in the season.
Yeah, and you mentioned Dalton taking the outside. I think that's actually going to be the preferred line, maybe on restarts. You can get a really good jump, and also perhaps on the inside line does not go at all. Wow.
I don't know if he was quite ready for that quick of a gun, per se, but we'll watch this battle for stage points. Is actually Matthew George already on the bubble because of the inside line not getting the jump. But the caution here would more than likely end the stage, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as well, especially with these guys trying to come through with fresher tires.
Yeah, everybody's going to be trying to make everything that they can out of this. You can see already McKinney and Lear really getting on it. They're getting aggressive with the fresh tires. It's going to be hard fought, as I think we're going to be Lear putting it 3 wide with George and McKinney through the middle and trying to get as much ground as he can as quickly as he can with the fresh tires. But they're kind of seem like they're struggling a little bit more than we saw Dalton getting through the field.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure these guys know too. This Lear's going to go to the very top. We're going to be 4 wide coming off the corner, it looks like. McKinney gets clear. It's going to be 3, but now we're going to have 3 wide for 2 rows. Wharton, McKinney, Engel, and then Gossett, Briscoe, and Lear. Quimby, maybe a little bit of netcode gets into Briscoe. He saves it. We stay green for the time being.
But all this continues to do, you can just see it. Just allows Dalton Tucker to really kind of run away, if you would, with the stage almost. As McKinney's in the wall and Lear just about into the back of him.
It's going to jump up stage points. Corey Wharton was on the outside looking in 11th. That gives him the spot. Lear again went to the wall in 3 and 4 to gain some time. But now, I mentioned it before, as we are coming to the white flag this time. Quimby on the freshies, Justin White on the freshies. Actually, the lucky dog, Tony Manji, knocking on the door. He's already up to 12th.
Yeah, those fresh tires can be huge. It's just the question of, do you want to have a couple sets late in the race so that you can have that big run at the end as Quimby makes a move to go from top of the bottom to try to get 2 positions here on White and Chad Engel.
And Manji's probably licking his chops as well. He's looking to get in between Justin White and teammate Chad Engels. We are on the white flag coming to the green and white checker this time. This is going to be the battle. Justin White has it right now, but Manji right behind teammate Chad Engel going into turn 3. He's going to look to thread the needle maybe. It's actually Engel kind of washes up. It's going to make it easy for him.
Yeah. Well, certainly you don't want to have that incident with the teammate. Wow. What a finish to the stage.
For caution here.
We'll have to actually see how that scored then. I don't know if the caution may have been a little bit later down the line. So real quick, I normally wouldn't do this, but we're going to pull iRacing up and see where it actually scored them.
Scored Tucker, Powell, Ackerman, Roy, Lear, Faust, Howell, Quimby, White, Manji.
And Manji got 10th. Okay.
Yep.
So furthest up was actually Lear's got the 5th, and we saw he was not scared to put that baby, as us dirt guys would call it, up on the cushion.
Yeah, he was, as Clint called it, riding the boards.
Yeah, I know we saw it. I believe it was from Tyler Reddick. I believe it was actually Sunday.
Yeah, it was Sunday, and I believe Reddick did it as well in the Xfinity race a little bit. So, yeah, it's a if you can get up there with fresh tires, I think you can do it. Other than that, everybody on even tires, it's just not going to be enough. Looks like Bruce Ackerman's actually going to maybe stay out.
Well, I know a couple of updates ago, you don't have to take the access road now. So I would imagine everybody pits, even though some guys did just pit. It actually looks like Justin White's going to be the only
Justin
guy
White
to stay.
absolutely staying out. Yep.
And a couple other guys deeper back, but I imagine they are the lap cars. There's actually Mark McFadden might be your lucky dog, I would imagine. So here's something too, Nick, which me and you can touch on more. We talked. Actually, Bruce Ackerman missed his box, so he'll roll through and have to come down again. So that's going to hurt him. But talk about pit crews. Now it's all on you. It's how you get into your box. It's how you get stopped and where you line up. It looks like Dalton Tucker easily going to be first off. I believe Brian Powell going to be 2nd. Yes.
And Lear managed to actually gain a position going down the road. I don't know what Kevin Roy was doing there. A little bit slow on the pedal next to Lear. Lear jumped him while they were side by side going down pit road. I don't know the last time I saw that.
So now we'll see what White and Ackerman do. But for right now, we're going to pull up our Stage 1 winner, Dalton Tucker. Oh, Dalton, you got a copy?
I got you.
Well, we talked about tires. You made the call to come down and get tires, and I'd say it paid off for you there, buddy.
I made some not wise moves, but got to the front, and they really paid off once I got clean air.
We were kind of talking, I believe it was the first caution. You came down, topped off, didn't take your tires. Second caution, you came down, put the tires on. Are you kind of surprised we're seeing this many cautions, and is it making your tire strategy that much more difficult, per se?
Yeah, if it wasn't for stages, honestly, I probably wouldn't have taken tires, but like I said at the beginning, I thought it would have gone green basically the whole way. So I came in the first time with just get gas, seeing if we could make it, and then we get another caution. So I was like, all right, let's just throw tires on it and see what happens.
Well, brother, it's, I believe, your 3rd stage win of the season. I think you swept Daytona there. So rack out the playoff points. I know it's kind of early, but, are you in the position to kind of take more gambles because, you have that Daytona win and then obviously like I just mentioned, the playoff points kind of in the bag already, or are you still trying to, just charge and kind of play it straight up?
Definitely gonna take more chances, just either for stage wins or race wins, just in general. Any other finish, honestly, at this point doesn't really matter that much.
I hear you there, buddy. You guys got anything before you send Dalton back down?
What's your ideal cutoff point on taking tires in a stage?
You talking about like lap?
Yeah.
Honestly, this stage I probably won't take him until the end.
Susie with the hard questions. Well, looks like we're doubling up, buddy. I'll let you go. Don't want to distract you too much, even though we probably should. But good luck, buddy. Put on a show for us.
All right, thanks.
Tell you what, love or hate the guy, he's a talent behind the wheel.
Absolutely. Justin White with the decision to take the outside line after staying out. So we saw it pay off for Dalton. Obviously, I don't know that Justin's going to get as big of an advantage that Dalton did. I can't see Dalton sleeping on the wheel here on this restart. But, that outside line could be a little bit of an advantage through 1 and 2. He's able to run it right.
Well, we know the next stage. Actually, I forgot to update the ticker to show stages. But we know the next stage going to lap 80. Field in the hands of Justin White once again, like it was in the beginning of the race. So we'll wait for him to fire off.
Green flags.
Green flag's back out. So he actually waited for the green, it seemed like. We're back on the way to clear Tucker at the line. We'll have to see now if Ernie Ludwig if there's, I heard somebody else in the wall in the back, I think.
And certainly waiting on the green flag, I think, paid off a little bit. But right here, you can just see that high line is useful, but not when somebody has fresher tires, such as Dalton.
It's interesting to see, everybody's kind of evened out besides obviously Justin, maybe potentially saving those tires just in case for the end. But, Manji and Faust get together coming off turn 4. Keep it clean and green for the time being. But I'm interested to see, too, I've kind of been watching it all race, what Manji can do. It seemed like he was involved in the wreck, maybe not down on power per se, is actually Justin White putting up a hell of a fight with Dalton Tucker right now.
Absolutely. He's managing to hold him off a lot better than I thought he would be able to on some older tires. You got to assume that at some point Dalton is going to clear him and pull away a little bit, but he is putting up a heck of a fight here. Able to really kind of hold on.
You got to imagine, though, there's actually BP and Ernie Ludwig now battling. Dalton got clear, but not as easy as I'm sure he thought it would have been or would have liked it to have been. He had to work, maybe not as hard. Justin wasn't pinching, but definitely wasn't a cakewalk. Had probably had to use up a little bit more of those tires than he wanted to this early.
Absolutely.
It's actually one of your front runners, Briscoe. Actually, Wharton as well, back to 14th and 15th right now. Cody McKinney from his damage, 19th. Bruce from basically serving a drive-through penalty almost under caution. Right now, P20. And then your lucky log from that caution, Mark McFadden, 21st, your last car on the lead lap.
This is going to be an interesting little stage here. We're going to see if they don't go green this time. We've seen it in other races for the Sim Series. They have a good stage and then they have a bad stage. So we'll see if we get good and bad stages here.
I think we'll be all right. Most people now, they got the laps in. They're not going to get surprised by the car. They know what to expect.
Yeah, we've even seen it in real life when there's one stage that's chaotic, there's another stage that's calm and cool and collective. So this should be the calm, cool, and collective stage.
So I believe, and Nick, again, correct me if I'm wrong, because obviously the timing scoring bug, we'll call it, but do we have 5 DNFs now?
As far as I know, it's technically 4, although one has received a throughput and not returned.
Is that chalk?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Timmy Harper is still on track.
Tim Harper, okay. So we should have Crump, Bitzer, Etcher, and Arthur, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
That sounds right.
So right there, just even with those guys, 3 title guys, I don't know, not to be I guess, owner bias, but I know, for instance, Etcher, last year's champion, still returned to Flatline Motorsports, still driving for me, but he's had a terrible start to the year. He was, let me find it here, 19th coming in tonight, and even Vincent Arthur, like I said, got caught up in the lap 1 carnage at Daytona, dominated the road course, throughput. I don't even think he finished top 20 if I remember correctly. He is even, well, actually he's 13th because of all the stage points, but he's going to finish 31st tonight. Etcher 30th. Roy Crump was 11th in points. He'll be 28th more than likely. But, you know, obviously it goes off owner's points, and it's, you know, no stage points, no nothing. That's basically straight up on finish. So they were supposed to start, I believe, like mid-30, low 30s. They got lucky because, you know, only 31 showed, so they moved up a good bit. But not the night Etcher and Arthur needed for sure.
And even Keegan, you know, that 19 hasn't exactly had the greatest of finishes the first few races.
That's
He's pretty low down.
Keegan too, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the same boat as Timmy Harper out there. He's trying to run as many laps as he can, but that engine, it's sounding sour.
Yeah, well, that's, you know, the big thing, which was on pre-race. You know, we're going to see it again next week, too, at Vegas. You know, it goes off owner's points. You know, you could be somebody like Dalton, arguably dominated so far this year, showing it again right now. Had a bad luck of the draw, basically. Went from, you know, first in owner's points and rolled off the furthest back out of, you know, Group 1, for say, in the field draw. You know, granted, he's leading now, as actually Manji goes to second. We missed that one, but, you know, it's going to make it tough. You know, Roy Crump was in Group 1, meaning he was first to 12th in owner's points. He's going to wind up 28th. So, you know, could he drop out of that, you know, Group 1, so to speak, and, you know, potentially be kind of in that mid-pack range for Vegas next week?
Yeah, and certainly, you know, the other ones that were kind of in that mid-pack range already and have an issue. Now they're in jeopardy of not even being able to make the race if they're in owner points now.
Yeah, which, you know, we obviously touch on it all the time. You know, we want people to show up, this and that, whatever. This is kind of almost an incentive to show, because obviously your big races, as we all know, going to be your super speedways. You know, we saw it at Daytona. We had a full field slated. I think we missed 1 or 2, I think, that didn't show. But, you know, we have...
not just that. I think we had 50 some cars essentially signed up for the race too.
That's actually a good point. But, you know, to go with that, you would imagine, you know, Dega, I believe, and then, you know, we go back to Daytona, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not, you know, where you have the duels and you got to race your way in. It's going to be, you know, the same thing we're doing now, probably random grid. So
yeah, especially for those two. I think as of right now, the only other race that I know of for a fact we're doing qualifying for would be Bristol.
Yeah, I know it's Bristol, I think there's like 6 or 7, Bristol and Coda.
8.
Yeah. So
8
Bristol
total.
would be the first one that we're going to do, you know, qualifying and stuff. But,
Well,
you know, it puts an emphasis on the team owners, you know, trying to get the rides filled every week, and not necessarily just to enhance your starting position, but I think there's 4 groups, you know, for the grid, you know, your first group, 1st to 12, and then so on and so forth. But you don't want to be that final 4 or that 4th group, because, you know, if you're going up for owners points, you're not guaranteed to make the race.
yeah, I actually almost have to ask the question, with NASCAR announcing the format of the Bristol Dirt Race today.
No.
Okay, I was just going to ask, are we going to use the the random draw to set the heats instead of having qualifying?
We could technically, but it would not be the same style format because you can't set heat grids like that. The only thing we could do would be just have no qualifying in the server, and then it'll set the grid randomly that way. But then the other problem we would face would be how to line up the feature, because obviously, yes, it would be off passing points and stuff, but we would have to put extra laps in the race and then have people not go green on green and this and that. So just easier to
For ease,
go heads
qualify.
up. Yeah. Heads up, qualify, run your heat, transfer
10-4.
through, and yeah.
10-4. I just felt that I felt like that needed to be asked and answered with the notice that, you know, NASCAR did put that out today. Like, hey, this is how we're doing dirt. So,
Sorry to interrupt, but we have a heck of a battle here for around the top 10 between the 10, 13, 25, and 37.
Even the 78, that's like 7th back to, actually it's 7 cars, 7th back to 14th being Briscoe. But I've noticed too, we've kind of been talking, but I've kind of been watching it. Sam Lear and Brian Jones, more so on the dirt side, they say, I'll live or die by the top. These two have been probably the highest up on the racetrack as anybody all night so far.
Well, that 37's trying to prove you wrong, and he is pinning that thing up against the wall right now.
they actually had that in the wall through 3 and 4 last time. So,
Sparks were flying.
One thing we want to keep an eye on for later in this race, I know you mentioned earlier about aggressive driving. Well, we're having our little thoughts into the future here. About 5 minutes ago, the 80 car did punt the 13 down into 1. They had a little argument on track about what happened, so it's something to keep in the back of your mind we might see play out later in this race.
yeah, certainly you start punting people, and you eventually get what you reap what you sow.
Yeah, perfect. I was getting ready to say the
There's
same
been
thing.
a couple of on-track arguments already, and some have been settled, and some haven't.
Well,
Well,
can't help it sometimes.
certainly, yeah, can't help it. I'm sure that this won't be the last time we have arguments this season.
3 wide
I
into
keep
1.
bringing it back to dirt, but I mean, in fairness, we're gonna have arguments with dirt, and we all know it.
Oh yeah.
Well, and then
There's
we've touched about it on the truck side too. Both fields arguably could easily, be full fields. We saw tonight we could have easily had close to, I think, 45 on the random grid. A couple didn't show up, so you got to imagine. I personally don't see dirt being a full field, but again, you never know. But it's racing. There's going to be tempers. There's going to be, discussions, but the guys that normally prevail are the ones that can kind of put it on the back burner for a little bit and focus forward as this battle still rages on. As Faust and Ackerman have gotten clear, so that'd be 7th and 8th, and now Quimby in a battle with Horton and Lear for 9th.
Yeah, this has been a battle to really watch. Certainly, a battle for the ages, if you would, between all these guys.
And there's still 6 cars, about 6, 7 cars still here. I believe it'd be Brian Jones and Zach Howliff caught this group because of the battling. I know,
It's these type of situations that get into a driver's head. When do I move them? When do I start to use my bumper to move this person?
Chrome horn, baby.
Well, and that's the thing. Some guys. That's one thing about iRacing, though. It's kind of about who you know and who you don't. Like, me personally, I know Tommy's a little aggressive. I know Payne is, like I said. And, I would kind of expect that. But I know personally for me, I think Susie's kind of in the same boat, or at least he was. As you look at this race, you're not even done stage 2 yet. There's no need to kind of get that aggressive. As actually, mentioned it. Tony Manji must not have had engine damage. He's up to 2nd, kind of maintaining with Dalton Tucker at about 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, I think some people just are aggressive by nature in the way that they race, and you get yourself into trouble with that. I know quite a few people that run that way, and it can be a problem. But if you can control that anger and use it well and be aggressive the right way, it can really pay dividends. But certainly, it can also hurt you immensely.
As Alan Walden, no pun intended, puts it in the wall. Trying to let these guys get around as we're approaching the 10 to go mark in stage 2 already. This
And
still
it's been green the whole stage, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Well, you're correct.
Yeah, and now we're gonna get into that area where will drivers try risking it to try to make it those 40 laps. We know that fuel window is 33 to 38 laps.
You can really see right now the difference between the guys that taking it easy on entry and through center, and the guys that really drove it in deep trying to make things happen, just where they're running and losing time.
Yeah, I know a couple laps ago,
Yeah,
Manji was
certainly.
faster than Tucker, about by a tenth, but just this past time through Dalton, a 33.508 to Manji's 33.655, and actually Brian Powell with a 5.27. But
Yeah, just
God. I think I shut him up.
No, he's been asked a question.
Oh. I can't hear that,
Yeah.
so I'll let him handle that one. But, yeah, the battle for the
This is a
final
good
stage
question.
points.
It was a very good question, and I think it resulted in some very specific things that are going to end up happening here, and decisions on when you pit.
So one thing to point out, you know, which actually I believe is coming in this time, and yes he is, I was just getting ready to say, Justin White was on 38 laps in his stint, and other than, as he actually just hit the pit barrier, got that on camera, Justin, I'm going to hold that over your head now. But he had managed to stay in the top 8, actually top 7. He was holding off Ackerman and Faust, and was looking, you know, quite good to not get stage points as owner's guy, but you know, kind of throw a wrench into some of these championship guys. Is now it would have been for the final stage points, but Wharton and George will continue to battle for 10th. Is now Briscoe going to try and hopefully reel these guys in, maybe grab that final stage point?
Yeah, but you see, the question that was asked, and like I said, very good question. What happens if you pit when pit road is closed? You know, as we all know, that's
Pit
a
road
green
closes,
flag
it's good to go.
drive-through. Yeah, that's a drive-through penalty. So if you try and stretch that to 40 laps and you run out on 39, that is going to absolutely kill you more than the fact that you ran out.
Well, and it's kind of hard on iRacing. You know, we've had this issue before where guys do try and stretch it because most of the time these cup races are tight like this. And especially last year, there was a couple races where I think the stage was like, just say 50 laps and we could get 49 on fuel. And you know, you could kind of baby it
So
and
I
make
think
it.
that-
Here.
I heard robot.
Oh, sorry. Is it better?
Yep, there you
No,
go.
no, you're good.
But like guys would try and stretch it, and they would make it, but then they run out under the caution. So you know that now you got guys trying to pit, you got guys trying to catch the pace car, you got guys. It's just mayhem. So you know the rule, pit road closes, but at the same time, we're not NASCAR. We don't have all these cameras and all this, advanced stuff. We're working with what we got, and it's computers, and so I mean, if it comes down to it, we're not gonna be stricklers about it and park somebody or whatever, but generally we do try and somewhat enforce that if we can.
Well, and I would assume that from a driver's standpoint, knowing that you would have to serve a green flag drive-through penalty for pitting with closed pit road, that would then change the fact that if you ran out under caution, you're kind of okay with that, because pitting under a closed caution pit road is only an end of the longest line.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but then that's the thing too. If you run out, say, when you haven't even caught the pace car yet, you better hope you can make it back to pit road and don't have to tow.
That is also true. There's a lot of it that plays into it, and I think we're going to see the decision come here from a few guys, probably on either this lap or the next one, on whether or not they can make it.
Unfortunately for Justin, Mark just went a lap down, so he would have been able to hold on and get the lucky dog back. But, unfortunately, like I said, Mark just went a lap down, so Justin gonna probably more than likely be held a lap down unless he, stays out again. But I don't.
And just to update the cars in the garage, another car has joined the garage area, and that was Corey Danielson in the 23. He came off of 4, got a little bit loose, hit the inside wall, and has taken it behind the wall.
So that'll give Edelman and Harper another spot if they can, keep the engines together on their cars, which will move them up to 24th and 25th. So, but we're coming down to it. 36 laps on the stint, 2 to go in the stage. Right now, the only person to pit would be Justin White, but like you mentioned, it's going to be interesting here.
Yeah, this is a moment where you have to really hope that you save fuel under the stage caution, and that you are now just kind of coasting, clutching it, and keeping it through the corners, and just keep it as much fuel in it as possible to get to the stage break.
Well, remember, technically, the caution came out at 40, and this stage isn't 40 laps. The stage technically would be about, what, 36 laps, 37 laps?
Yeah, a little
That is
less.
correct.
Which is the point I was going to make too. But Christian, one of your guys actually, Corey Wharton, I believe, was 9th in front of Matthew George. I saw Matt got by, and actually Briscoe got by as well. So Wharton back to 11th. So we're coming to the green and white checkers off turn 4.
So everybody's gonna make it.
Dalton looked like maybe saving a little bit of fuel, so he's definitely kind of coasting it to the line.
Yeah, he's doing 150 at the line.
As I think Matthew George just put it in the wall trying to get around Quimby on the high side.
Caution.
And there's your caution. So now the question
Did you
is,
hear any static? Like somebody
Who
was
makes it
speeding up
back
on the
around
radio just
to
a few minutes
Yeah.
fill it open?
Temp.
you
Y'all
know,
better hope you have a clutch pedal.
we'll grab Dalton once they make the pit stops. But
Yeah, because I would definitely like to know how close on fuel he was.
so we're gonna go to the fan cam. My personal favorite, but I know you like the drone.
Well, in fairness, I really love the digger cam, but we don't have
I
that
love
everywhere.
the TV static cam. Right up against the wall, cars drive by,
Oh, we
crank it up.
Oh, we gotta crank it up. We got wall cams. Don't you worry about that.
I love the crank it up section, because I get to shut up.
So important to note here is actually it looks like Ernie Ludwig out of fuel.
Ooh.
So he just towed.
Oh, that is not what you want to see. He stretched it too far and didn't save.
Craig Schroeder's on pit road, so I would say he's not going to make it. Looks like everybody else will make it. And actually, I'm surprised too. You know, obviously you can or cannot take the access road if you please. Personally, I probably
Nope.
would have right here.
I think Payne almost out of fuel. Or maybe he even is.
You got to imagine guys behind him not going to be happy.
I think he is, yeah. The engine is off. The engine is off in the 13.
And that's kind of a thing where if you know you're out of fuel, you should have parked it and towed. Or at least, you know, nothing against
Ask
Susie,
for an
obviously,
EOL.
but yeah, kind of called it out. Say, hey, I'm out of fuel. Can you EOL me or something? Because now would have been tough already. But guys like Matt, you know, Quimby, Corey, Briscoe, all them guys that were behind him now held up even more. As we're going to have, yeah, Briscoe's not going to be able to get into his box now. So I actually have to see if Bruce got some damage out of that again. Because I know they were
I was about
tight.
to say, yeah, just as you were mentioning it, it caused, because of that whole incident, it caused that stack up with Briscoe and Roy and Ackerman.
It looks like actually Bruce ghosted through, so kind of very lucky there. But, you know, when Susie gets a second, if he's not dealing with that, we'll actually see what was said about that whole situation.
And for Mr. Roboto.
As actually Payne still hasn't made it to his box.
Yeah, he's more than likely going to go multiple laps down here.
Yeah, leaders are coming off of 4, catching the pace truck. He's already lost 1 according to my timing and scoring, but
I don't even think he's going to make it to his box.
yeah, I don't even remember where he started to kind of know where his box even is. But
P5.
well, there's Mr. Susie. So one thing to note
He's-
here.
Well, he just said P5. I want to note, he is currently passing Dalton Tucker's pit
No,
box,
he's
and now
getting
he's
pushed
getting help.
down. Yeah, he's getting help down pit
I
road.
believe that's illegal by NASCAR standard.
You know, we're not NASCAR. I hope he didn't slide too far in his box, though. Oh, he's good.
It's only illegal on 1 to go.
Mm,
Yeah, last lap's the only time we really kind of nip it in the butt for say. But
10-4.
so actually, I just noticed Justin White somehow was your lucky dog.
Oh,
As Mark still a lap down. But one thing I was
It
going to
looks
get rid
like
of the
the
note
4
on,
is going to get the wave around here.
that will actually help him because somehow because he pitted. So there you go. So technically pits were closed, but he pitted when the field was catching the pace car. If we remember I had mentioned Craig was on pit road.
interesting.
So because he is on a 3-lap stint, just like all the other guys, Manji, Dalton, all them guys. So technically, we're not stricklers. So technically illegal, but also technically not illegal because, like I said, we're not stricklers here. But But back to my original point. Talked about Manji, talked about Gossett. Both started deep. They're now second and third. Bruce, after his under caution drive-through that he gave himself, worked back up in the second stage. He will restart sixth. So, stage 1, couple cautions. Stage 2, caution free. And I would argue we're about to see some fireworks here, boys. We're about to come back green, I believe.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I think this is the time for a crank it up. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'm down
I'll
for
leave
that.
that up to Josh.
So we'll go to our wall cams. Dalton Tucker leads them off turn number 4 to start the final stage. Hopefully some green flag pit stops. And we're going to crank it up.
Ready, green, 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 green.
Hello?
Why, hello.
Hello.
We got
We're
off the play here.
We were under crank it up, and
Yeah.
that was an interesting dual slide coming out of turn 2, if anyone saw that.
I was actually on board with Mr. Gossett, so I actually did not see it. It's BP.
Oh, he's
hang
gonna
on
get loose
to her.
underneath everybody.
They're all teammates. Little give and take, I think, by Manji there. Not really, pushing too hard. But we saw Manji make the move on Tucker. Tucker kind of held on. It's now him and Gossett are going to battle. Oh, they're going to get tight.
Yeah, but Dalton Tucker is going to hold on to it. A hard pinch by Dalton. Maybe a little slide up from the 80. But everybody's okay, and we're going to keep going.
Ooh, Manji thought about it, backs out. And you'll see this, from your, I guess, quote-unquote front runners, guys, like Dalton, Tommy, and, Manji. Granted, this is his third or second race with us. You're going to see, more pinches than you would, say, for 10th or 12th or so. And this is where, they, as I like to say, business will pick up.
Yeah.
Sorry, how many times has this 37 been in the outside wall? And he is sitting in 6th place. I got to give it to him. Brian Jones is wheeling this thing.
Well, we put an old dirt car side on that right side, and just able to beat and bang on that outside wall. It's a lot stiffer up there.
They switched these things to composite bodies or something?
Not yet.
Well, I'm interested too because I know I touched on it earlier. Being looser, kind of off turn 2, and I noticed Briscoe did it and kind of runs a little bit lower in 3 and 4, as actually Brian Jones does now too. They both kind of have that same line through 1 and 2, which obviously, gives you momentum down off the corner and stuff like that. I wonder if, obviously more of a comfort thing too, but I wonder if maybe they've found something. Obviously we know that bottom line is, yes, obviously dominant, but, Briscoe, again, top in 1 and 2, kind of down bottom 3 and 4, and he's clicking off about the same lap times as your top 3 in front of him, and actually gained a little bit on Manji down the back going into 3 that time.
Yep, we actually saw kind of an inverse of that in the 2020 Cup race here for NASCAR. They were kind of down low through 1 and 2 and up high through 3 and 4. And then I think it kind of flipped on Sunday to kind of being like this. So I don't know, maybe that is kind of the line here.
It's actually Briscoe, I mentioned he was running even with everybody. The only driver that lap in the 1s, everybody else in the 2s and or 3s.
Interesting.
But I noticed he went to the bottom in 1 and 2, but Gossett going for the lead.
Take a look back at him in 10 laps, see where he's running.
Oh, yeah,
Keeps up with that line.
I would, with the way that these tires are, I would argue not even 10 laps. I'd say give him about, 5. But Dalton actually held on. I believe he was defending in that second groove, and he held on.
Yes, he did. It was, he's managing to kind of pinch it just the right way and run that second line in the way that you need to really get a really good run off the corner and be able to pull enough down the front stretch to hold on to a position.
There's nothing more frustrating than being in the position of the 80 car right now. Feel like you're a little bit faster. Obviously the draft's helping you, but you know how important clean air is. Doing everything you can do and just not being able to make the pass. All you're doing is chewing up your right front, you know it, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well,
Yeah.
certainly kind of one of the guys that we'd argue hardest to pass maybe in NORA over the last couple of years, Dalton Tucker.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it was after the stage 1 interview, love or hate the guy, he's a talent. I would argue, one of the top talents we have here. There's a couple guys that, I can throw up there with him, but he's gonna make you earn it, unless it's, like say lap 1 or something, or early in a stage, he may, let you have it, but he'll definitely be back there as the stage goes on. But, like I said, you're not battling for, 15th, 16th. You're battling for the lead with guys that are more than capable, and I'll use this term because it's kind of what we're used to, but are more than capable than pulling a Dalton Tucker and kind of locking down the lead and walking away with it. So, Tommy's no slouch, and even Manji, got the damage. I would assume got it all fixed, and he's just running 3rd now. Finished 2nd in the stage. You got to have it in your head, as I would imagine 1 pit stop left, maybe 2.
Yeah, probably 2.
Yeah, I'd say 2.
I would
But-
say they're already what
16 laps, 15, 16.
yeah. So
But
already
to finish what I was
close.
saying though,
Mhm.
either one of those guys, if they get in front of you, have the ability to not necessarily maybe drive away, but
Lead.
put a stranglehold on it.
Well, we're going to see how well this works. Dalton's going to pinch well again. I think you can't run that inside line the way you want to either when you get pinched, I think, the way that Dalton has been pinching them. And it's not a dirty pinch. It's not a dirty move. It's just a very clean move. And Dalton's doing a really good job with it. I don't know, you could fit a magazine between those two on that one.
Well, you can't release off the corner and you lose all your air off the side of your car. This makes you extremely tight.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, like I said, Tommy, again, I'll put him up there with Bruce, one of the more aggressive guys we have, but at the same time, he's a racer. I'm sure he wouldn't expect anything less from Dalton as he's going to lead the lap, but I'm sure he wouldn't expect Dalton to just move over and let him by, just like as he's going to clear Dalton. Just like I'm sure if we see Dalton make a counterattack back, Tommy's going to pinch him. It's actually going to throw the block and protect the bottom, but
I don't know that he threw the block so much as he got loose and had to save it to the bottom.
But like I said though, they're racers. Dalton ran him hard, and like I said, I can almost promise and guarantee that you're going to see the same thing from Tommy.
And Dalton's not done here.
Yeah, we got a battle for the lead. We got a battle back here for 7th, I believe. Yeah, between Wharton, Jones, who still won't leave that 3rd line. His pal kind of says, "Thank you very much."
Contact! Dalton into the wall. Here we go.
Oh, he locked it down.
I'm surprised no caution on that.
Wow.
racing.
Unfortunate for him, it was a single
Yeah.
car.
We're going to go back and take a look.
I'm just more surprised that iRacing didn't throw it more so than anything.
So we go to the world's fastest drone, as Nick likes to call it.
If I'm Dalton, I am not happy about that at all.
Yeah, I don't think that it was, again, I don't think it was too much of Tommy's fault. I think it looked like much like the previous lap. He got loose coming off the corner, but, you know, there wasn't a lot of room there either given.
Actually, I'm trying to get a decent camera angle on it. It almost looks like...
No contact.
Yeah, I was
There's
going
the net
to
code.
say the same thing. A little bit of netcode.
Yeah. I don't think Tommy came up the track as much as he could and got loose. Like I said, I don't think there was a lot of room given to that inside. And when you get loose and you got somebody trying to go underneath you, you know, those
And
kind of
Dalton
things
has
happen.
taken it behind the wall.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that thing probably knocked the front toe out when he hit that wall like that.
That's an unfortunate end to Dalton's night there.
It's an unfortunate end of the three-peat bid.
Yeah, so 3-peat's done. I believe we could potentially see... I know, well, no, because he swept the stages again, so we probably won't see a change for the lead. He was up by 34 over Briscoe, but... I mean, you never know. That's going to put him back to, I believe, 25th. So, I mean, it's Briscoe would probably need a win to even come close, but I think he'll still be point leader, as I actually just got word, 18 minutes of damage. So
Yep.
that will explain
So-
that one.
Probably a toe knocked out and something else. That's a hard incident to happen there, and you're on the phone with him. You know, maybe ask him what his perspective on that one was.
Well, I kind of said it already. You know, he got loose in netcode, but you know, I'll see what he says if he answers. But you know, I
Yep.
mentioned it. You know, between the three of them, being Gossett, Manji, and Dalton, they could arguably put a stranglehold on the race. And right now, still a 10th quicker than Manji alone. Gossett now kind of controlling his own destiny at this point.
Absolutely. So, well, follow along, and you know, things can change. Maybe somebody saving tires somewhere. Who knows what the decision here is? But anything can happen. We could have a late race caution that throws everything up in the air. Who knows?
From the way he just answered, I don't think he's actually too upset. I think he obviously gets that it's, you know, kind of out of his control. But he said it was so bad it jerked the wheel out of his hands, and he'd never felt that before.
It kind
Well,
of
and-
looked that way, honestly, because it snapped to the right.
So then it was definitely netcode, because for him it sounds like he received contact.
Oh, I mean, I tried getting a good camera angle. I couldn't get the exact one I wanted, but I think even Susie said it too. It's definitely, you know, netcode. But yeah, I think even with that, you know, Tommy was getting loose. I think they would have touched anyway at some point. Which, you know, hate it for Dalton obviously, but I think that was almost best case scenario because, you know, one, obviously no caution, but two, instead of 2 red cars, unfortunately, I guess for Dalton only the 1, but, you know, could have been a lot worse because we could have even wadded up more because Manji was right there too.
Absolutely, that could have been the end of quite a few cars' days, as we actually saw pretty much right off the bat of this race. So
Yeah, we got with Dalton now to be 24 still running, 17 on the lead lap as Craig Schroeder will be the first car to go a lap down, but he's about half a track ahead of Gossett. So your top 3 kind of all running. Well, I said that Gossett actually had a 3, so Gossett's still about a 10th up on Manji on the speed charts, and then him and Bruce kind of evened out. And everybody kind of spaced out right now, just kind of logging laps at this point.
Well, you know, save fuel, save tires. I think you got, what, 2 pit stops here? Or how many laps are we on this stint now?
27.
So we're looking at them pitting probably in about roughly 10 laps. That puts us at about 120-ish.
Yeah, so pretty close.
Well, if they pitted around 120-ish, that's a 40-lap dash to the finish, and without a caution, you're pushing it on whether or not you can make it. I think we were all kind of in agreement that we don't really think that type of distance is possible without giving up too much time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never one.
It's been done before.
Oh, it's certainly been done.
We've seen Brad Keselowski be able to pull it off. If someone is able to shut their engine off mid-corner and be able to pull that off, then they can do it and not give up that much time. But unless they're able to do that, then I don't see them pulling it off.
There's too much on throttle time here.
Yeah. I'd like to point out the most incredible moment of fuel saving, Alexander Ross, for his Indy 500 win, where he was engine off for about half a lap on the final lap. It was a very interesting moment. But I don't, like Susie just said, there's too much on throttle time here, and you are giving up a lot of time, especially if somebody pits and just tops off. You're just off the throttle for way too long for trying to save fuel. And I don't think it's possible.
I will say, though, we've seen a lot of line variety. As somebody was in the wall, I thought I heard.
Yeah, that was Alex Brown. I was just kind of flipping through the field as it happened. I'm not really sure what happened, but I just saw him in the wall and then straight down to the inside all of a sudden. He was able to hold on to it, though.
Let's go down the line here, Christian. What would your play be for this final stage from here on out?
I'm a gambler.
You have to pit 2 times.
See, I'm a gambler. I would try to stretch it. I've had success in my past of stretching fuel runs. That's how I've gotten most of my wins in NORA. Is stretching fuel to the point where I run out crossing the line. So I would pit once and see if I can make it to the end. And if not, oh well, I tried.
What about you, Conover?
You know, it's kind of funny. Normally, I mean, you know, obviously, Susie, from being teammates last year, I'm more of a kind of stick to, you know, the main strategy. You know, this is what we got. You know, we're doing this, but it's kind of tough for me at this point right now. For instance, if I'm Manji, I'm almost mirroring what Gossett does, because in my head, I'm in the same boat as Christian. I'm looking at it, you know, if I can make it to 120, I know I'm right on the edge, which right now they're on 33 laps in the stint, so they can actually go, if they were to go to 40, they can make it past 120, but, you know, that's if, obviously, but I almost want to stretch it, because granted, if they do end up pitting twice, I think personally I would have already pitted if I'm going to pit twice, though, just because you're going to lose that much time on pit road. But I think at this point, if you're out this late and, you know, still haven't pitted yet, I think you're going to try and stretch it and pit once. And like I said, I think that would be my strategy right now, unless, you know, like Gossett or Manji pulled something crazy late, like maybe, you know, just to top it off and maybe 2 tires or something. But it's actually Gossett's coming in right now.
So there we go. What about you, Nick? What's your play?
Run it dry, split the second stage in half, so they can get the fuel tank right about the halfway point, so that 2 tires is about the same time, and then just try and use those 2 tires and fuel to get to the end.
Man,
Yeah,
that call by Tommy Gossett, I don't know. First person in on pit road.
Yeah, you don't want to do that, but
Yeah.
I'm running hard. I think if it was me, I'd run this almost. Actually, it wouldn't even hurt to pit now, but almost as long as you can, as someone's sitting on the track.
It was Alex
And
Brown.
Yes, it was.
I'd be going as long as I could pitting, and then 10 laps later, I'd be coming back down, taking rights, and filling up.
Okay. I was gonna say I don't know what was going on, but it's Chad Engels on pit road.
I tell you what, Gossett is lucky that that was not a caution.
Yeah, that could have been absolute worst case scenario for Gossett and Engel.
The best thing for him now, besides that caution though, look where he's at on track compared to Manji. He's going to get his lap back within, I would say, actually a lap, considering the speed difference. Which, you know, again, kind of, which obviously we know just from actually like the truck series and stuff. The longer Manji stays out, the better off he'll be, you know, at the end of this run. But at the same time, how long do you stay out and kind of push this?
Yeah,
Until you're dry, I mean, you have to.
yeah, because with Gossett, even though he has the fresh tires right now,
He's going to have to pit again. 100%.
he is going to have to. Yes, I don't think you can stretch it. What was it, 44 laps at that point?
Yeah, 44. There's
Yeah,
no way
43,
you can make
44.
it that far.
Yeah, but now also with the longer that he's going on this now, his fresh tires are going to end up getting countered by Manji.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, which is the point
He's
that I
going to
was
have
making.
a large gap.
He is going to have a large gap, absolutely.
But it's going to get it's going to get shrunken down real quick.
So I think
A lot of cars pitting here.
Chad got a
Everyone's coming
penalty,
in.
because Chad's on
Yes, he
pit
did.
road again.
Yeah, he had speeding.
Well, Matthew
As
Driver
you
stays
see,
out.
everyone is coming in here. They're going to go 40 laps to the end. Who
Well,
is
you
going to be
still
able
got to
to
count
make
the
it
lap
on
they're
field?
on. It's either 40 or 41, because you got to count the lap that they're on.
It's 40. 40 to go now. 'Cause they're on lap 121.
So see if Matt and Brian pit as they stayed out.
They're coming in now. I think they're going to try to stretch it, but I know if I just pit right there with everyone else, I'm going out, and then 10 laps later, I'm coming in and taking 2.
Yeah, Matt and Brian are going to be in best case scenario for fuel.
And Manji's getting held up on pit exit by Timmy Harper. He's going to be about half track behind.
Ooh,
He just now passed the blue cone. Gossett's already off of turn 4. Yeah, he's about half track behind.
but the thing here is though now, Manji a lot closer to maybe being able to save to the end. I think we covered it. 44 laps. I don't think you can save that. Although maybe now he might have that chance at it.
And
Yeah,
Tony
Clutching. He's clutching.
clutching.
Tommy's only chance right now is he needs to run as hard as he absolutely can, and probably split this run in half.
Let's see if he does it again here.
So we'll ride along going into
Yes, he
turn
does.
1.
Tommy's gonna have to create as big of a gap as he possibly can here.
And then, like I said, split it in half. I think that's honestly the call here.
He's got a 12-second gap.
Oh, you need more than that.
Yeah, but if Tony's already clutching it, you know, he's certainly not going to be able to run as fast the lap times as Tommy. So Tommy can really start putting him down.
Tommy
Tony
ain't
only
saving.
needs to save a few laps. He only needs to save for a few laps, and he'll be able to make it.
Yeah, Tommy ain't saving. Tommy just put down a
No.
32.0. Manji a 32.3. And actually Ackerman a 31.9. Briscoe 31.8. Kevin Wall 31.7.
So from what I'm hearing, Manji might be the only guy trying to save fuel right now.
Yeah, well, Bruce and Sean closing in a couple, maybe a lap or two. They're gonna have the draft. But yeah, Manji definitely, which I think Tommy actually started saving too, because he just hit a 32.2. See what Manji
Now-
puts in here.
Could Tony be saving for the potential of green, white, checkered?
Well, first he has to save enough to get to the finish.
Yeah. Well,
I
leader.
don't
don't
know,
think.
because
I don't think
you
at that
could
point
get
you can
39.
worry about it. I wouldn't be worried about the green white checker right now. If that happens, tough luck.
Yeah,
I
you're
think
gonna pit
everyone's
anyways,
gonna pit
right?
anyway.
Yeah.
Briscoe to the inside of Ackerman. That's actually, I think Bruce saved a little bit that lap too, because he was even into 32.1s. Briscoe a 31.8. So we'll check times.
I don't think they're saving. That's just normal fall off.
I think somebody else just blew up actually from what I heard. But Gossett and Manji both in the threes. Briscoe 31.9. Briscoe must have, checked his fuel numbers and said, hey, I'm good to go. You guys can save. I'm going to push for it.
Timmy Harper's engine finally expired.
Ooh. And he actually did not get around Dalton Tucker, so he will remain 25th.
Oof.
Tommy Gossett 32.5 to Manji's 32.5 to Briscoe's 32.3.
Yeah, Manji's still saving. Gossett, he's just on normal wear right now. Lap time fall off.
Yeah, the gap's still 12.5. So
Yeah, because he's got, what is it, 4? I think it's what, 4 lap older tires?
yes, he just crossed to start lap 12. These guys will be on. Manji will be coming to 8, and Briscoe and Ackerman and them guys will be coming to 7. So yeah.
Yeah, 4 to 5 lap older tires. So yeah, that's yeah. I'd argue that Tommy's really kind of just normal fall off. Manji saving.
Yeah, Gossett
I would agree with
last
Susan.
time by a 6:30, Manji a 5:22, and then Briscoe and Ackerman both in the 4:3, 4:2 range. We'll check it again this time by. Another 6:30 for Gossett.
I know there's 2 types of staving here, and crew chiefs prefer one. I think race car drivers prefer the other. And crew chiefs usually are going to want you to start saving as soon as you leave pit road. I think drivers, in a lot of cases, you want to run it, and then when you get to a certain point, just go, okay, well, now I'm going to save. But I think the crew chief's way tends to work out better.
Somebody who ain't saving either. Kevin Waugh, he hawked down Ackerman. He's going to look to the inside coming off turn 4. That's Gossett actually now down into the 7s. We'll see what Manji can put down. He's actually 33.0. So
he is
still gapping a little bit.
Yeah, I think there's just too much time to have to try to save.
These are the times as a team owner, you wish you could get on the radio and tell Kevin, save some fuel. Save fuel, man. Don't push it this hard.
Well, the question is, does he have an app like some of us use, or is he using iRacing fuels, which we know is always off by a few laps, especially at the start of the run?
It'll be interesting for sure.
Well, I know one of my drivers definitely have the crew chief app. I think it's actually Kevin does. So
yeah, but that doesn't tell you fuel.
So
I
have that app as well. It isn't going to tell you your estimated fuel laps and all that kind of stuff. It'll put fuel in your car so you can make it to the finish. When you run out with about 2 or 3 laps,
I don't know. I don't know what his plan is, but
so
I'd be saying get off the gas.
The only thing that's benefiting Tommy is he has a 13-second lead now, and he might be able to save it and just make it close at the end. Because you got to remember too, we're looking, assuming everybody's going to be able to make it. He's got 5 laps more on the tires and the fuel, and I just did quick math obviously, but that's going to be, what do we say, 45 laps or so?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the furthest we've seen was 39 laps.
Yeah, there's no way he's making it.
And if he does,
and like we said, Matthew George and Brian Powell pitted a lap later than Kevin Waugh, Bruce Ackerman, Sean Briscoe, and all these guys. So they're in the absolute best position on fuel.
Actually, Matt ran down Bruce and Sean, looking to get back into the top 5.
They may not be saving fuel at all.
I think they are. Their pace dropped pretty rapidly.
10-4.
Still the fastest car on the track, Matthew George, 33.1. Actually, Corey Wharton just looked off a 32.8. Yeah, Gossett's still 33 twos. Right there, another 33 2. But we'll see. Matthew George gets around Ackerman. Briscoe up in that, I guess we'll call it the fourth line for say. He's going to try and clear him. Let's move Matthew George back to fourth. We'll see. So Gossett's coming to start lap 20. But even if you take your 135 and add 20, or sorry, well, yeah, add 20 to get to 40, you're still 5 laps short. You'd be at 155.
Yep.
So yeah, he would need 45 laps, just give or take 44, 45.
Yeah, I would expect to see him in around, honestly, maybe even just 4 more laps.
If that's what he's going to do.
Correct.
Because obviously, we don't know, but even now, he still ran a 2-2 to Manji's 5.55.
And he doesn't, at least from the way I can see it, doesn't really seem like he's saving.
No, him and Matthew George both hit 2s that last time by, as Matt's catching up to Kevin, and actually even Tony for that matter. But the gap's now 14 seconds. So, yeah, Matt put up another 2. Manji a 3, Kevin a 4. So, I don't know. I think he's maybe cutting it in half. Maybe he's pushing to kind of maybe try and get that gap up as high as he can. We're kind of just sitting ducks at this point and seeing what happens.
And absolutely, I can now 100% confirm Manji on the clutch into the corners. I put up the old helmet cam for a second for myself. That man's RPMs dropped to 2,000. So that is
2-0. So we'll see what happens going into 3.
Yeah, each time I'm seeing it on the helmet cam, this man going into the corner, dropping it to 2,000 on the clutch.
Mine are only going to 7.
Interesting.
The whole last lap, it only went down to 7.
I just watched it drop to 2,000 again.
Well, Justin White next to the agenda for Tommy Gossett to put a lap down. Assuming Gossett, continues to put these laps down. As Matthew George has not gotten to Kevin yet. The gap's actually kind of stabled out. But we're approaching 20 to go next time by. And yeah, Gossett working lap 24, coming lap 25 in this stint. Manji coming to lap 21. And then everybody else, a lap behind Manji. And then even George and Powell, like Christian had mentioned, 2 laps behind Manji. So
the only thing I fear for Tommy is if he's gonna pit, he needs to do it soon. The longer he waits, the less time he's gonna have to make up ground. And if he comes in, try to take a splash of gas or something, and he doesn't take tires, well, that's not going to do him any good, because not only is he going to lose position, he's going to have old tires.
Absolutely. Right now, he needs about probably half a tank, I would think, maybe-ish. Oh.
Now, what Tommy needs is a caution. That's what he needs.
That is
No.
what he needs, but
We don't want to see that.
We don't want to see it, but that's what
I
Tommy
don't
needs.
exactly. I think that's what we're getting at here. Is he needs it? Nobody wants to see it, but I think you're absolutely right. He needs to come in, get enough fuel to get to the finish, and 2 tires at least.
Yeah, if he takes 4 tires, he's not going to have enough time to catch the leader.
I'm not sure about that.
4 tires right now might actually pay dividends immensely.
If I was going to do 2 tires, I would have done it long before halfway through the run.
Chad Engel got the wall off turn 4.
So my initial strategy that we called out and talked about was to run 10 laps, come in, take 2.
Bruce and BP continue to battle. Looks like Brian's going to clear him this time, but we're 18 to go. He's coming this time to work lap 28 on the stint, so it's going to be close.
And Chad just hit pit road.
He might be afraid to pit too. Caution can come out and really mess him up.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta pick your poison, man.
I just don't see it. Like I said, I don't want to say it's impossible because I'm sure somebody's would be able to do it. But from what we've seen, like I said, I think the furthest we saw was like 38, 39 laps, and you're adding another 6, 7 to that. So.
Oh yeah, not at the pace he's running. Absolutely not. His lap times would have had to been drastically slower.
Well, I will give him the utmost credit if he manages to make it to the end.
Oh, he'll make it, just not without another trip down pit road.
Yeah, that's more what I meant. If he could somehow manage to make it to the end with that, I don't know what I would do because that'd be incredible.
Yeah, Timmy, Christian called it out for us that your motor finally let go.
Pitting right here.
Is he coming in?
He's coming in.
Yep,
See what he
he's
does
on pit
with
road.
tires.
So now we watch.
Now we watch this battle for the lead as Kevin is gaining on Tony.
Him and Matt were both coming. The right sides go up on Gossett. Let's see if he puts 4 on. I'll have
And it is gonna be
15
4.
laps. It is 4.
Yep.
Now the question is,
Right.
though, how far ahead do Manji and them get with the 4 tire stop?
They
They're just now
are.
off turn 2.
Yep, but he
Actually,
hasn't
Corey
left pit
Wharton in
road
as
yet.
well.
I think when it cycles back, he might be right in front of them.
He has just now left pit road and he's on the access road.
Yeah.
I forgot he was deep down on pit road, so he'll actually be about
So they
Three-quarters
might
of the
be
track.
halfway through 1 and 2.
Matthew George working to the outside here. Kevin,
he just
for
now
second.
got up on the track.
Yep.
And it's-
3/4 of the lap down. We'll see.
I
And
don't
see if 4 tires is enough here.
33
good.
4s. You know he's gonna be ripping off 31 somethings, high 31s.
There's actually
Yeah,
a lot of
I
guys
just-
coming in here.
I
Wharton's
don't
in,
know.
Lear's in, Quimby's in,
I just don't know if there's enough time now.
Joseph McKinney,
That's the question.
Ernie Ludwig.
Well, 2 seconds a lap for 15 laps. Sure, that's enough time, but you know you're not going to maintain that advantage.
and say
You
Yeah.
might get 6 or 7 laps out of it, which will cut the lead maybe in half.
he's got 23 seconds right now at the last scoring loop, and it's already down to 22 and a half. So literally through
Sounds
a
as
corner,
though
he got the
Kevin's now
second.
starting to save fuel. He's backing
think-
down the pace.
I think the guy in the catbird seat right now might be that 28 car.
I agree.
So Gossett
We'll
right
see.
now-
We know Tony's been saving pretty much from the start. Matthew ran kind of hard first few laps there.
Yeah, but we also remember too, he's got 2 laps more fuel.
And that
I
might
think he's got
just be
one more
enough.
lap than Tony.
Mm,
He's got 2 more than Tony, 1 more than
yeah,
Kevin.
it says Tony will be coming to lap 30 this time on the stint. Matt will be coming to 28, and Kevin will be coming to 29.
So actually, that puts Matt right at pretty much the fuel window. I think that put him at 38 coming to the final lap.
If he can get close enough right now to Tony down the straights, he can run 3/4 throttle and get a tow.
So Gossett, keep in mind, back to the top 10, just sailed around Justin White and McKinney. 31.7 to Manji's 33.7. That gap is now 17 and a half seconds.
So we'll have to keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye on the battle between George and Manji as George is going to get the run off of 3 and 4. I think he's in the draft now.
I don't think he's going to have enough time. Coming to 10 to go, and he's probably going to be, 15 seconds back?
We'll see here at the line. Manji at 34.1. So we'll see what Gossett puts down. A 31.6. It is now 15.1.
Caution's out.
There's a caution.
Oh my
And this
My
is
goodness.
going to
radio's not
change
bad out there.
everything. Who probably doesn't come down pit road? Tommy Gossett.
Now
Who
you
comes
have,
down
I
pit
think
road?
he's got an extra set.
He's got to come down. He can't stay out on those old tires. He has to come
Mhm.
down.
and we had a pit road malfunction. So Susie, I assume have race chat up. I don't know if Cody called out if he was pitting or not, but he woed up to come into pit road. Justin White clear into the back of him, and Cody kind of locked it down and was kind of off the pace, and it threw the yellow for obvious reasons. But just that would be your caution. Easy to find that one, but yeah, if you're Tommy, you just pushed hard for 6-7 laps. You have to come in.
Absolutely.
There's no way, because you figure they're going to have probably 5 to go and they go green. There's no way you can hold on.
But what you now have to keep in mind, though, is he is almost half the corner behind Tony Manji and Matthew George with them pitting. I don't know that he even gains one position. Well, he might gain one position.
Yep, he pits.
Yep.
Ooh, how'd I call that?
That one. Well, that's what I was asking about though. Did Cody call out he was pitting?
He's maintaining he did, but he's speaking on all teams.
Yeah, so Justin might not have heard that. So Tommy is taking 4. So we'll see the race off pit road. It's gonna be Manji.
And then George, Roy, Ackerman, Powell.
And Tommy's going to get
Briscoe.
stuck behind Brian Jones.
Yep.
Which will put him 8th. That one, Susie, I know I've always said it's not required to call out, but highly recommended for a situation like that. The all teams thing, I know mine mutes automatically, so I can't speak for anybody else.
I know mine does too.
Yeah, so I don't know kind of how you would want to do that one, but
He's already talking in game.
well, I figured, but I'm sure he can still hear us. But I don't know. Justin looks like he's gonna not stay out, but not get damage fixed. Looks like we have a wave around, a couple actually. Looks like Lear, Quimby, Schroeder, Faust, and I heard somebody.
Oh, we got one in the wall on the straightaway.
Who was that?
82.
Yeah.
Flipping out.
Um,
That was weird.
We're gonna back that up and take a look.
What? What just? Oh,
Okay then.
He just downshifted and punched it.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, me too.
that's a first.
Well, you see some strange things in the booth sometimes, and that was one of them.
Strange is the word for it.
It's Manji actually starting to blink a little bit.
Yeah, he's having a little bit of a connection issue there. Oh, good lord. We know it happened a week ago to 2 different drivers and one in each race. I don't want to get into any
I think he's coming back. I think he's coming back.
Well, it looks stable now. So.
Can we clip that Cody Walden incident and send that to Clint Boyer for the Put It Out segment?
Oh boy.
Coming to take, I believe he
We're
was.
gonna have what? 5 to go here?
Yeah, we're gonna have 5 to go when they take the green.
5 to go, yeah.
I tell you what, Nick, I was obviously a little leery on how the grid thing would work out. I think it's been better than expected, to be honest.
Yep.
And the way this race is gonna finish, personally, I hate to say it, I don't think we're done wrecking.
I don't think so either.
It's gonna get absolutely wild.
I think we're gonna see some 3 wide.
We're gonna see 3,
Yeah,
4, 5 wide.
Going to the
You
blimp for
have
this one,
a
boys.
very, very aggressive driver in that 80 back in 8th who led for pretty much the whole stage after the incident with Dalton Tucker, and now he's mired back there. I don't think he wanted to see that caution for sure.
Yeah,
At
you
that
got an
point.
aggressive driver in the number 56 that hasn't seen victory lane in a good while. He wants back in victory lane. Will he be able to get there?
And Tony Manji's going to get a great jump. There's not really a lot of people close to Manji or Matthew George. And certainly that's what Matthew wants to see. I think he's might be a little aggressive too. I think everybody's going to be aggressive to get to victory lane.
Oh, look at
Gosh.
Bruce
Gossett
almost
loose.
into the back of Kevin Wall.
Gossett put that thing on the white line to try to get underneath somebody, and it got loose all the way down there.
He tried getting under
And-
BP, and it got loose. He's going to have 4 laps to try and make a late charge.
Bruce goes sideways. Woohoo!
These boys letting it all hang out. People in the wall towards the back. Hopefully we can stay green, but your race is going to be up front between Manji and George. George's going to try and run him down.
Yeah,
Gossett's toast without another restart.
Oh, he ain't going to give it up, though. He's going to push these last 3.5 laps, that's for sure.
in fairness, I don't mean to be mean with it. It might be the cause of the next restart if he gets too aggressive.
I'll tell you what, though. You can say what you want. These boys are giving it all they got. You know, we just saw
Oh, no, absolutely.
Tommy and even Brian got a little loose on the exit of the corner. And then at the other end of the racetrack, we saw Briscoe get a little sideways. So they're giving it what they got. Matt, I think, nothing against Matt. Obviously, I just think he's not comfortable kind of pushing. We have
Oh, there's
first-
the rack.
Caution.
No!
BP's in it.
All right, bud, bud,
Tommy
get down
Gossett's in
under
it. Corey Wharton's in it.
That'll give us a green-white checkered.
Oh, wow.
As it actually, I'm not sure if
I know we complain about netcode. Zach Howe better praise the netcode gods.
yeah, I know Corey comes down there, but it looks like also the 80 just doesn't lift at all and gets into his rear and sends him around.
Yeah, it's kind of just hard
Yep.
racing. I mean,
Yeah, it's hard racing.
Tommy's, they're all obviously going for it. Tommy can't see Brian get loose. He actually got loose himself if you go with his cockpit view. And yeah, it's just, in baseball they call them bang bang plays. That would be a racing version of a bang bang play. You had 3 drivers pushing hard. And like I said, Tommy obviously can't see BP above Corey, but BP gets loose. Corey gets loose, Tommy even got loose, and it's just, they're all on top of each other. You can't do much about it. That will give us our first attempt at a green-white checkered.
Yeah. How many of these do we have?
Unlimited.
Oh, goody. Certainly, hopefully we're not the truck series at the road course Daytona, because that got out of hand real quick.
Well, so here's the question I was just starting to mention, I believe, before that happened. Matt, maybe not as comfortable on the fresh tires. Somebody messed with the Facebook page. I'll add it later. And if slow down. Manji might have been pushing, kind of hoping it stayed green, so he wouldn't have to worry about it. But with the restart coming, did Manji push too hard? Was Matt saving a little bit to maybe get a green-white checkers and now push?
Now you're just making my head hurt.
It's all stuff you gotta think about, though. Because, I'm sure Matt obviously didn't think, like, hey, they're going to wreck green-white checkered, but seeing just the gap that Manji pulled, I mean, you got to ask it, though. Did he burn his stuff up? Gossett leaves pit road to stay on the lead lap. Corey Wharton's still in his box. So he's going to lose a lap. So is BP, as somebody just blew up. I believe it was Mark McFadden.
Yeah.
Yep. So that'll end Mark's night. So Engel will get a spot from there. Ernie Ludwig as well. Alan Walden shouldn't if we don't get too many green-white checkers.
Yeah. You'd need quite a few to get those.
Just real quick, I'm going to pull up one of my favorites to joke around with and talk to, old Bruce Ackerman. Brucey, Connor from the booth, got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Brother, are we done seeing cautions tonight?
Say that again?
Are we done seeing cautions tonight?
I hope so, man. I'm ready to get this one over and done with.
Oh, come on, man. It's been fun.
It has. I've had a blast going from the back to the front a few times. So
Yeah, made the comment you gave yourself an unintentional drive-through penalty on that one
I
caution.
did.
But
Yeah, that was terrible.
before obviously go back green, we've kind of talked about it all night. You're one of the more aggressive guys we have. Will we see the aggressive Bruce Ackerman on this restart?
It just depends on how everybody gets off of the line right here. I want to be aggressive and I want to win, but I'm also not going to wreck anybody tonight. These cars are a little on edge going through these corners, so I'm going to be aggressive but be mindful at the same time.
That's what we like to hear, buddy. Well, good luck. I know you came from the back. Well, I think once or twice actually, but put on a show for us. Hopefully, we'll be talking to you in a little bit.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Old Brucey.
Well, this is gonna be interesting. There's a lot of personality still left in this thing, and we got 2 laps.
Yeah.
How much you want to bet it turns into 8 laps?
So, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Payne has any damage.
He got a little bit earlier, but he's had it fixed. It was on the left front.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because he's now back on the lead lap, pitted, fresh tires. He will restart 12th, but on the bottom.
And behind all the lap cars and everything else, unfortunately.
Right. So.
Yeah, and that's the problem there.
We'll see what happens. Hopefully Matt gets a better restart.
Green flag.
It does not. Just Tony's able to really get that restart down right the way he wants to, and Matt just can't get it going as well as he would like.
Kevin actually to his inside. Got
I
loose though, and is going to lose a spot here potentially.
Oh,
Many
there they
more,
go.
and there
We
it
are
is.
going to see 8.
Caution. Talk to you about your car real quick.
Oh, I
Oh,
just said it. How
man.
much do you want to bet we see
Oh!
8?
Oh, and Arca
Ooh.
brakes.
Tommy Gossett from bad to worse.
I might even be out of this thing with that.
I was looking for my first top 3 of the season for Outlaw Racing, and it went up in smoke literally. Oh,
With everybody.
Yeah, it's just 37 got loose, unfortunately.
Yeah, Kevin got loose. Brian goes to thread the needle. He got loose. And almost kind of the same thing we saw. Well, maybe not the last one, I think, but we've seen it plenty of times tonight. But as the ARCA brakes, man.
Well, now that 13 we were just talking about won't be behind everyone.
That's a good point.
And,
I try to be nice about it because I am obviously league owner and stuff like that. But man, Christian called it. Just ARCA brakes.
Yeah. What I would say is, who?
I went back and
there
looked
it
at
is.
it. I don't think you could see that car stopped on the outside.
I was just about to ask it. Who makes the decision if you have an extra set of tires? Do you come down and put them on? And Sam Lear is coming down pit road and putting on, I assume, a fresh set of tires. Maybe he is.
Ooh, that's a tough call. How many,
There are
how many
only.
green laps have they actually had?
That is also a good question, but there's also only 11 cars on the lead lap, so you don't lose quite a lot.
Yeah, but they've only had 4 green flag laps. I'd at least wait another green white checker or 2. How many of these things we got? Unlimited?
Mhm.
unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna use a lot of them.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Because like I said early in the broadcast, that first couple laps, you get real squirrely center 1 and 2. And these guys are pushing as hard as they can. They've pushed the whole race long, and they're getting to that limit, coming over it, unfortunately.
Actually, Brian Jones just towed as well. Not sure if he'll be done for the night, but. Whew. I mean, you heard Bruce say it too, though. The cars are on edge, so he was going to be aggressive, but I guess you can call it a passive aggressive, not kind of force the issue per se. But, and Susie just said it too, with the cars being on edge, these guys are going for it. Which, obviously with a loose race car isn't always a good thing. But I will say, though, it is nice to kind of see a little bit of a looser set. I know normally with the Cup cars, we're kind of used to more of the, no lift, hammer down, kind of hold the main line. and not
Just
have to
as
worry
an
about this?
update, Sam Lear with those fresh tires, restarting 8th.
Yeah, that's
Payne Faust too. He pitted.
Yeah, he
He
did
did
not
on
take off that. No, the last restart, he got the lucky dog. He got 4, and he was behind everyone, so he didn't take off. So he's got nowhere either.
Yeah. So 7th and 8th for both of those guys. Those are going to be the two to watch on this restart.
We already
Certainly
saw
are.
that 78 ripping the wall all race long. I don't think that's going to change.
No, and we kind of said earlier you do kind of want to wait a little bit, but certainly fresher tires, even a lap fresher, have proven to be better. So it's going to be interesting. They don't have as far to go as I thought they would.
It's just tough with it being so loose. If they had the grip, if one of them could get to the very bottom and put it 3 wide going through 1 and 2, you can make up a bunch of spots like that. But I don't think they can hang on to it running down that far low.
Yeah.
Real quick, I'm gonna pull up Chad. I have an important question to ask him.
So do I.
Chad, Conover, Nick, Christian, Susie in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, I do.
So I have a question, kind of personal, but on a scale of 1 to 10, do you need a new pair of underwear, and how bad?
On a scale of 1 to 10, it's about 1,000. And we do have.
All right. I just want to see. I saw the replay. It was a little sketchy. Made a little contact, but yeah, I just wanted to check in. Good luck, buddy.
See you,
Yeah, I
Molly.
got a little left front, and but the engine's holding strong, and the more people dropping out, the more positions I'm gaining. This lap around, I'll gain about 5 spots.
There you go. The positive out of the cautions. We love to see it. Good luck, buddy.
There you go.
Had to ask Chad that question. He's always wanted to ask everybody else, so I had to give him his own treatment.
It was very important.
But now the question
Well, they are
is,
packed up tight. Here we go.
Manji gets another great
Ready,
jump,
green
but
flag.
that was going to be my
Ooh.
question. Will Bruce get aggressive and race Matt? And even besides Bruce, Justin White back now into the picture in 5th.
Well, I saw Zach Howe get really loose coming, or not really.
He got a
loose.
shot.
Yeah, he got a
Yeah,
shot.
he got a shot in the
on
bumper.
tires. But here
Oh.
comes the question marks. Payne Faust, not as quickly coming forward. Kind of getting a little blocked off with them running almost 3 wide.
Well, if we can get off of turn 4, this will take us to the white flag. And we will get there.
White
So
flag
this
is in the air.
official.
Next
No
flag ends
more.
it.
Yep. No more green, white checkers here.
I think
Unless Tony wrecks it, he's got it. They're not making up 6 cents on him.
No.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what you said about Payne and everybody else, Susie. How many green flag laps do they actually have? Because even Lear, who also pitted, he's only 8th, but
He hasn't even moved a spot, actually.
yeah. So
Payne has, but Lear hasn't.
So Tony Manji off turn 4, second race in the league, will secure a playoff spot as he wins in Homestead. Goes PRT. Dalton might not have won, but goes PRT. 3 for 3 so far on the season.
Yeah, certainly put together a good race team right there in the Cup Series.
I hear a lot of carnage, and I'm just going to leave that on Manji. All in all, though, fellas, not a bad night. I'll be honest, I thought we were going to use more green white checkers.
Yeah, I was a little surprised we didn't.
We will pull up our top 3 to the interview room, though. As Mr. Manji goes ahead and burns them down. Best sight in racing right there. Real quick, just because out of my curiosity. So the track's down to 87 actually.
Interesting.
So the track cooled off a good bit, kind of like we expected. But well, I guess we'll start with 3rd. We'll work our way up. So we'll start with Matt. Does anybody want to grab Matt and have that interview?
I guess I will.
So,
All right, here he comes. It's all yours, buddy.
Matthew George, Christian up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Matt, you've come home third here at Homestead. Probably not the position you wanted to come in, but needless to say, you had a good race. Tell us about the night you had here.
Yeah, I really did not want to see any of those cautions at the end. I could have made it on fuel. Don't know if I could have ran down the leader, but felt like I could have won that on fuel. That sucked, but yeah, it was a wild race. Back in the pack, everyone going 3 wide and stuff. That was wild. Definitely a fun one though.
Yeah, we saw that you and Brian Powell stayed out the longest out of anyone and had that advantage over everyone, and were in that prime position to possibly take the win. And that caution kind of threw a loop into everyone's strategy, and yeah, but you kept the car clean pretty much all day. It didn't look like there was a scratch on that car. So good job keeping it clean all day, at least.
There's a couple times I could have really messed that up. But yeah, it was a fun race. I love this track. It's definitely a track you need to take care of the tires on. I love the multi-groove racing. It's a fun track. I love coming here.
Well, before we let you go, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to and give a thanks to?
All the admins, you for broadcasting, Josh Conover, Flatline Motorsports, all my teammates, everyone out there watching. Yeah, I'm looking forward to next week at Vegas. This should hopefully put me in a good starting position as well for next week.
All right. You guys got any questions for him before we let him go? Or?
Well, I just want to, good run, Matt. Obviously, a little biased team owner, but still a good run. I know you'd mentioned, fuel and you were good to go. Before that last stop, were you trying to stretch it so you knew you could make it, or were you just kind of, as you could, I guess, say, going by the seat of your pants and just whatever fell into your lap was kind of what you went with?
Yeah, I went as long as I could. I might have been able to stretch it one more lap, or I might have ran out on pit road, but yeah, I stretched it as long as I could.
I know we were trying to figure it out. Like I said, we kind of had said, you and Brian were in the, the best seat. You guys both pitted the same lap. I think it was 2 laps after Tony, and we figured you didn't want to see the caution. It would have been, a good finish. But something I had actually touched on too, and then we'll let you go. Seemed like on the restart, you just couldn't get going. Was Tony just getting that good of a jump, or were you kind of hanging back per se?
I always suck at restarts. I don't know what it is. If there was a way to practice it, I would, but restarts are just never my thing. It's one of those deals of just having a single monitor.
Oh, I know that feeling, buddy. But Nick, Susie, if you guys got anything?
Nah, man. Good job tonight. Great race.
Yep, thank you.
All right, so that will take us to old Mr. Brucey. Nick, you want to do that one? If you're here. All right, I guess I got it. Chris, if you want to jump in with me, you're more than welcome. Brucey!
What's up?
I want to say it was a broadcast blessing besides a curse. We talked to you, gained a couple spots, ended up P2. How about that?
Yeah, I like it. Good momentum.
Yeah, well, we talk about momentum. Let's actually talk about that for a second. A little better starting spot tonight than you will have, I guess it'll be technically next Monday. But I know you had mentioned the cars are kind of on edge. I think it was Kevin actually got involved in that first green white checkered caution, I know you said you'd be aggressive, but not, I guess, over aggressive. You know, were
Yeah.
you pushing a little bit harder since you were restarting third?
Yes, I was. So being on the outside lane, you have to watch out for those guys, entering that corner, getting loose and trying to overcorrect. But since I was going to be the one in the outside lane, I was wide open through 1 and 2, just wheeling it all the way through, pushing as hard as I could.
Not scared of her snapping on you, huh?
No, I mean, at that point, you got to go for it, or, I was trying to go for the win, and I went for it.
I hear you on that one, buddy. But so I kind of asked Matt the same question. I guess it'd be that final pit stop. I think you pitted, I think 1 lap after Tony. Were you good to go to the end, or were you still kind of saving there?
I was. No, I saved. Right before the caution came out, I was back to going full throttle. Full throttle, I was actually just past Sean Briscoe for 4th place. And I was actually running down 3rd and 2nd at the time. So yeah, I was back in it. I was a lap and a half to the good, and I was losing 0.1 per lap, more than the lap. So I was using 1.1 laps of fuel per lap. So being that I was 1.5 laps to the good, I was going to be okay to go full throttle the whole time.
I know we were actually obviously watching Gossett and even Manju, because I think, like I said, I think he was a lap further along than you as far as pitting a little bit sooner. But it's going to be interesting. I know, I'm sure you since you had saved, didn't want that caution, but at the end of the day, it kind of benefited for you coming up second.
I think so. I think the 92, when we came out of the pits, him and I just started saving fuel, and we let the people pass us who was really trying to push it. And I think they realized, oh crap, we're not going to make it. So then they started backing off, a lot more than what we did. We were able to get back around them, but I mean, 92 was fast tonight. Dalton was pretty quick. I felt like I had a winning car. At one point, I think it was in stage 1, I was running Dalton down after about 20 something laps, 26, 27 laps. I had dwindled him down from 9 seconds to 3 seconds. So felt like, I was hanging with the fast guys tonight, and felt like I was better at conserving tires than everybody else.
So with that being said, will we see you next week in Vegas with the Cup cars?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I plan on running every race in this series.
Nice. Well, I know me personally, I appreciate you running. Obviously it helps with the field size, but that was fun to watch, man. I know Matt had mentioned, he likes coming here, likes the multi grooves. I guess final question: Did you kind of feel the same way? Could you feel like you could go multiple places to make passes if you needed to?
Yes. So in practice, I really focused on running the bottom lane because I knew I was going to need it to pass. And that's where I made a lot of my passes tonight, was after learning how to run right against the white line. I was able to pass so many cars in the corner and get back into the throttle. It was a little more on edge down there, but once I practiced how to do it, I was really good to go. But yeah, you could run 3rd lane, middle lane, bottom lane. You could be all over the track. You can actually miss the corner and not lose much time because you can get back into the throttle so quickly.
Yeah, we definitely saw a couple guys rim riding most of the race, and it looked like a lot of fun, man. But we'll let you go. Anybody you want to give a shout out to? Thanks, something like that?
Yeah, sure. Full Throttle Motorsports, Alex and Trevor, and Zach. Everything is, we seem to have a lot of momentum so far this year. We're all working well together. We're able to, push each other to be faster. And after last year, I just want to be consistent the best I can. And, I didn't win a race last year, and I came into this season when the I think it was the duel, and didn't do too bad at the road course. Got wrecked out of both of the Daytonas, and come here and run second. I mean, that's pretty good in my opinion.
Yeah, man. Well, team chemistry and working well with your team is a big part of all this. Because obviously, happy teams tend to work well together. I know you're knocking on the door. Second, obviously right there. I know you're strong in the trucks, so I'm sure I'll be seeing you at some point on Monday. I know you got to kind of work for that one.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's gonna be an interesting one. But I believe I have Vegas dialed in, been running a few races and a lot of laps there. So just I just been practicing tire conservation at this point. These races are never guaranteed to have a lot of caution. So um, my biggest thing is just trying to get to the point to where I'm conserving tires better than everybody, and I can drive from the back to the front and still make time. So that's my approach to this season. I'm still going to be aggressive if I'm up front, as much as possible, but I'd like to win, just by leaving the field.
Hey, I hear you there, buddy. I agree 100%. But congrats on your second place, and we'll see you Monday night.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Okay, before I say, does anybody want it? Is anybody else here?
Hi.
Okay. You want
Hi.
to grab Tony?
Tony, Christian, Josh, and Nick in the booth. You got us, man.
Yes, sir. How's it going, guys?
How's it going? I could imagine it's going a lot better for you. Second race with the league, got the W, man. What happened tonight? How'd that fall into your lap?
Yeah, what an adventure that race was. I'll tell you, I thought the road course race was an adventure last week, but man, we fought hard the entire race. Got behind at the very beginning, got involved in a little accident, got a lap down, got the lucky dog early on in the first stage, came back and somehow got back to 10th in the first stage, and then started battling with teammates in the second stage. That was pretty fun. Our Ghost PRT team was pretty good tonight, so everybody was running really, really well till poor Dalton got crashed there. But we had a great night, and like you kind of said, it kind of fell into our lap. We were there when it counted, and after all the dust settled, we were the victory. So it was good.
You gotta get a hold of old Brian. Get you a paint scheme for that thing, man. You're a winner. Winners need some cool schemes.
Yeah, no doubt. We'll have to get on that. We got to get all my partners on there. Good old Best Overhead Doors out of South Carolina, NGK Spark Plugs, and of course Manji Motorsports. So yeah, we had a great run tonight. I'm super excited about it, and we'll see what happens here as we go on to Vegas.
Well, I know personally, I'm sure I'm more of I'll say a nobody, but I know I've heard of you before. I think I've run a couple races with you. And I knew when Dalton brought you in, I was like, oh, it's gonna be interesting. 'Cause I know obviously Dalton's quick. I know you're quick. There's a couple other quick guys in here too. And man, a win by you and Dalton both this early in the season is gonna spell trouble. But are you looking forward to next week? I know I think you were scheduled to start further back than you actually did, but obviously the win will help you in the owner's points. So hopefully a better starting spot. But are you looking forward to next week?
Yeah, for sure, and that's absolutely hit the nail on the head there. Getting that better starting spot for next week will be key. But we'll see if we can make it 2 in a row. I mean, it's going to be tough because there's a few really, really strong guys out there. But I am looking forward to next week, just to try to see if we can do it again, or at least maybe help a teammate win. I mean, Dalton's got to get another win out there, so we're putting some numbers on the board. We'll see what happens, but you never know with these races. You never know. You go in there and get crashed. So it's going to be about staying up front and, staying out of trouble.
Yeah, well, if I were you, I'd be focusing on keeping the playoff points away from Dalton. He's already, I think, double digits.
Oh, is he? Yeah. So, well, he's way ahead of me then because I didn't get any last week. So, yeah, I mean, that could end up happening. But no, I'm just happy to be a part of it, and it's always good to see teammates succeed. So there's nobody better out there than Dalton. So kudos to him for sure.
All right, real quick, you guys got anything else for him?
I know you were saving right off the rip when you had your green flag pit stop. Were you going to be able to make it? Did you save enough?
Yeah, I think it was going to be really close if that would have gone green. and we were sitting pretty there in that period. But I think the caution definitely kind of gave me a sigh of relief anyway, because it was gonna be, right at the line, probably was gonna run out. So, I was doing everything I could to save, to try to make sure that we had something at the end, but kind of unlucky situation with the caution, and we didn't lose the lead. So, it couldn't have gone any better than that. And I felt like, for myself personally, I was better on the short run, way better than I was on the long run all night. So, to have a few quick short sprints to the finish was my bread and butter.
Well, I know you kind of.
Absolutely, man. Ain't nothing better than coming down to a couple laps to go and being able to dictate the restart, especially if that's where your strengths are. So, congratulations tonight. You took advantage of it when you could. Kept yourself out of trouble for the most part. Look forward to seeing you on track next week.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Thanks for broadcasting again. Thanks, Ghost PRT team, and everybody here at the NORA Cup Series. You guys do a great job. So thanks, and I'll see you guys next week.
Not a problem, man. We like having you. Put on a good show. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Well, I mentioned it. It's a little kind of cool, I guess you could say, information, but I would say your Cup Series right now, Ghost PRT, as a team, has a stranglehold on it right now, as they've swept all 3 races so far.
They've had a little luck, but they're definitely one of the, if not the one of the dominant teams out there on track. I mean, you look at the talent they have in their field, and it's kind of hard to argue otherwise against them.
Yeah, I mean, I know still early in the season, you only race 3, but like I kind of told Tony, Dalton's already double-digit playoff points. Tony's going to have, I think, 5 after this one. So, I mean, they're, I guess it's still early, but if it's one of those scenarios like, oh, well, if the playoffs started today, they're sitting pretty, to say the least. But I guess final thoughts, fellas, and then we'll hit up the results, and I guess we'll head out of here.
Well, I mean, you mentioned it, a little bit looser setup kind of helped the racing tonight. We did see some of the aero play into it, but I don't think quite as bad as normally. The combination between the high wind, looser setup, and the overcast conditions kind of melted together to make it probably the best racing it could be. So it was good to see that. And, hopefully we get another variation of that next week. I think, and I'm afraid it might end up being the whole aero draft block with the air game. Hopefully not, but we'll see. I'm just glad tonight went really well, and I know we came in tonight saying there was probably one guy that really wanted some revenge, and I think we're going to go into next week with 4 guys that really want some revenge for what happened to them tonight.
Nick, final thoughts, buddy?
Yeah, excellent race. Fun to watch, and just a bunch of hard racing from everybody. I hope it carries over to Vegas, but like Susie said, sometimes we might end up back with those other cars that we don't really like as much.
Well, Chris, final thoughts?
It was an excellent race from a broadcaster's standpoint, but as an owner's standpoint, I'm going to be spending a lot of hours in the shop fixing all 4 of my cars, spending a lot of money on all 4 of my cars. So disappointing night for my team. But
You want to talk about disappointing? I had 2 cars taken out lap 1. They finished 30th and 31st.
Well, that's fair. So both of our teams had terrible nights. So we're both going to be spending a lot of hours in the garage. Our garages are side by side, so I'll holler over if I need help or you need help. So, but yeah, it was a fantastic race other than that, and I enjoyed the heck out of it, and hopefully I'll be up here in the booth next week to enjoy Vegas for the Cup race.
So real quick, obviously stage 1, a couple cautions and a couple there at the end. 8 total, but obviously the 2 stages, so basically 6. and 13 lead changes, which obviously, green flag pit stops kind of helps with that too. But I mean, I'm with you guys. Like you said, great race. Looser setup was nice. And from what I've heard from around the block with the officials for Vegas this week, it's much of the same. A little bit on the looser side. So, we'll see kind of how that goes. But quick look at the results. Oh, yeah. I know the truck is loose to start, and then, just casual truck setups gets tight over the long run. But that's why. So Bruce has kind of hit the nail on the head for say with the manager tires. But Tony Manji continues the Ghost PRT dominance with the win. Bruce Ackerman second. I think actually his best finish of the year. Matthew George third, being around, I believe, the front most of the night. Justin White, I would say probably a bigger rebound besides Manji, because he was started on the pole, fell back. I think at one point he was a lap down as well. Got lucky dog, finishes fourth. Even Payne Faust, I think that whole second or third stage, he was about a lap down. He finishes fifth. Ben Quimby, which did we ever figure out if he actually made the grid or did he miss it?
I think he missed it.
Yeah.
So Quimby missed the grid along with Tyler Chalk, but Quimby comes home sixth. Zach Howell seventh. Sam Lear eighth. One of our high side hustlers, we'll call him. Briscoe ninth, and Craig Schroeder runs at the top 10. Great run for Craig. Nick, we'll grab 11th. If you can.
Yeah. We got Joseph McKinney coming home 11th. Cody McKinney in 12th. Chad Angle 13th. Ernie Ludwig brought it home 14th. Brian Jones in 15th. Kevin Roy in 16th. Tommy Gossett comes home 17th. Corey Wharton 18th. Brian Powell in 19th. And Mark McFadden 20th.
Christian, if you can grab 21.
Yep. Alan Walden comes in 21st. Alex Edelman in 22nd. Alex Brown in 23rd. Dalton Tucker 24th. Timmy Harper 25th. Corey Danielson 26th. Tyler Chalk 27th. Roy Crump 28th. Keegan Bitter in 29th. And Donald Etcher in 30th. And I guess I can just do 31st also, since that was Vincent Arthur.
Yeah, so we mentioned Vincent was kind of on the revenge tour tonight, and I think it's going to carry over to next week too. But yeah, I know I'm looking forward to next week. Finally get back in the truck, and then we're off for a couple more weeks, I think. But great race. Broadcast was fun. Ghost PRT continuing to, for lack of better words, dominate the Cup Series, and we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to next week, fellas.
Absolutely, same.
But with that being said, I think we're all about done here from Homestead. Like I said, we will be in Vegas next week for both series, Trucks and Cup. As of right now, the truck race should be broadcasted because we will have coverage, admin-wise, and obviously for the booth. But to be determined with that. But I'll let you guys sign off, and we're good to go. So go ahead, Nick.
I was say for the NORA broadcast booth, I'm Nick Gillis. He's
Conover.
And I'm Christian.
And we got to say,